Hello and welcome to the Open Rampage Finals. I'm Danielson524 here with Midget Cow on the desk, and we've got a really exciting game today here, don't we, Midget Cow?
Oh my goodness, Danielson, I'm so excited. These teams have loaded into the lobbies and they have the same icons for every single member on both sides. And we've got the red team with blue icons and the blue team with red icons. How ridiculous is that?
Oh man, just a real topsy-turvy one here today at Risen Esports. But yeah, let's talk about those teams. We have Team Not Good Enough, NGE, over here on the right versus Team First Pick Ashe on the left. That's considered blue side right there. Now, I've been told these teams have faced off before. Is that right, Mr. Cow?
Yeah, in previous facings during the regular season, things went the side of not good enough. Our NGE team, who will be on the blue side for game one of this best of five series, and it was kind of a slaughter. However, I've been hearing rumblings from teams behind the scenes that maybe that was a bit of an upset. And first pick
Mm,
Ashe is going to be our blue side team coming into game one, and who had
yeah.
side selection here,
Yeah,
might
speaking of
actually be the stronger team.
Thank you. Speaking of rumblings, we're actually getting to the bands right over here for our game one. So let's see if Rumble comes up at all. It is first pick Ashe here on the left versus NGE on the right. And already we're seeing some pretty odd bands, wouldn't you say?
Well, one of the things we have to consider when we're coming into the Open Rampage finals here, Daniel, is the fact that this is amateur league play. So we're not going to be looking at what the pro meta is going to be. We're going to be more looking at what the meta is between these teams that have faced off in their round robins. And as such, we see Ashe being banned immediately from first pick Ashe, as one might expect.
Mm, yeah, I'd imagine. I'm not entirely sure where they got the clue there that they may play a lot of Ashe. Maybe it was from their name or something. But yeah, overall, we're just seeing a lot of mainly just one-trickable champions banned out from these guys. They have a lot of experience in here. So far, I think the only really competitive champions that are really worth the ban that are coming out is that Volibear right here. So while they may not be able to first pick the Ashe, we'll have to see what they're going to be first picking here. About 15 seconds left on the clock. They have a plan. Are we going to see some really powerful picks like the Gwen coming out, the Seraphine, or any of those meta champions? What do you think we're going to see coming out here?
I'm thinking that we might actually end up seeing the Viego coming out for the side of NGE. He's been
Ooh,
tearing it up in the pro meta, and their jungler certainly plays a good bit of him, has been practicing him a bit. I think as an addendum to the Volibear, the Urgot and the Galio are also pretty strong pro level picks that really necessitate a ban in this series. Both teams have their own Urgot one trick, so it's interesting to see which one's
ooh,
going to ban it going through. Um,
interesting.
I am very interested in this Jarvan first pick though, because it signifies that they're
Yeah.
looking to play a very strong early game and kind of put together a team fight oriented composition. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking that they might pick up a Kaisa to go alongside it, as that is one of their really big picks for their AD carry after the Ashe pick has been banned.
Definitely. I would love to see the Kai'Sa picked up here, especially against someone like Ezreal. I think you have a pretty solid matchup right there. But one thing I wasn't expecting was the Garen pickup over here coming for first pick Ashe. Now, that is going to be a blind pick there for their top lane. And he's going to basically say, I don't care who it is. I want to pick Garen into anyone. So we got the Demacian bros coming out over here for first pick Ashe, which is that?
Oh my goodness, Dan. I'm so excited to see the Garen unleashed in game one.
Yeah.
Sasario is known for a couple different picks here. The Tryndamere, the Kale, they're more of his specialty, but the Garen has been something he's practiced a lot. And I'll touch on that Jhin in a moment, but the Garen actually matches up really well into what BHAP likes to play, because he likes to tend towards the Tryndameres, the Cho'Gaths, and the Shens of the world, which means that the Garen's going to have a lot of free range up there. But the Garen has
Yeah.
been something
And if
he's
we do see the
practiced a
Quinn
lot.
coming out here, that
And
is
I'll
a
touch on that
probably
Jhin
a
in a
pretty
moment,
solid
but
pick over here
the
for
Garen
Garen. But I
actually
think
matches up
once
really well
Garen
into what
gets a
BHAP
either
likes to
Ninja
play, because
Tammy's
he
Rush
likes to
or
tend
finishes
towards
his
the Tryndameres,
Strikebreaker,
the
it
Cho'Gaths,
should be
and the
pretty
Shens
solid.
of
We're
the
going to have to see if
world,
that is
which means
confirmed
that the
over here. And
Garen's going to have a lot
yes,
of free
and it
range
is
up
going to be
there.
the Quinn Ezreal Lux, which is our first three picks over here for NGE. I'll tell you one thing that I noticed is that this is actually looking like a very good game for Jhin right here. It means that they're not going to have a tank in the support spot or in the top lane right here, assuming that Lux goes support and the Queen goes top. And Jhin doesn't really like playing against the tanks now, does he?
Not at all, especially because he has such a huge problem chewing through them, and his build path doesn't line up against them well. That said,
Mm.
this Lux definitely Ephemeral Void's major pick of choice down into that bottom lane as a support pick, and the Lux Ezreal is going to do an excellent job of shutting down that Jhin with that really long range poke that he has a hard time handling in the bottom lane.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I'd love to see him start maybe a Dorn shield or something. Just really deal with that poke in lane, or maybe he'll go with a really aggressive support right here. The Leona was banned out, but there's still a lot of engage you could potentially go for this. I think Thresh is probably one of the better champions in the meta right now. If that's been out, they could even go for someone like the Alistar. Do you know if the support plays any engage at all?
So occasionally they've played things like Leona, Rakan, Nautilus, but I'm really more expecting them to be on the Nami because of the Nami Jhin synergy and how well they're able
Ooh.
to utilize that combination. And also, the tidal wave would really impact the way that Jarvan's able to shape fights with his Cataclysm and help them to get to the Ezreal, get to the Quinn, and shut them down before they're able to rip through their front line.
Interesting, interesting. I didn't even know about the Jin Nami synergy right there. The Jami, I believe maybe you could call it right there. But what we're seeing so far in the bans is more jungle bans coming out over here for first pick Ashe. No Udyr, no Sejuani, but we might be seeing the Dr. Mundo coming out over here for NGE. Now, that's probably going to be a Dr. Mundo in the jungle. He is very strong in the jungle at the moment. I wouldn't say he's S tier. I'd give him at least a B plus, though. You take that W level 1, don't even need a leash to clear your wraiths or your chickens. They're in level 1, you can just go ahead and kill every single camp so quick while building full tank, right?
One of the things with Mundo is he's received a lot of nerfs recently, and his build path has gotten gutted. So it's a really difficult, and we do see that Nami come through, so I'm really looking forward to that Nami Jin synergy where she's able to just buff him up and increase his movement speed on top of his already very fast movement speed to help dominate that lane and really set up some chain CC through the bubbles and the Deadly Flourish itself.
All right, sounds good. We have the last pick coming out. It is going to be a blind pick Zoe coming out over here for the mid lane, rounding out their damage, giving them some much needed magic damage. And the Vel'Koz follow up over here for NGE. It's looking like it's going to be a Zoe versus Vel'Koz in the mid lane. Maybe it's going to swap with the Lux. How do you feel about this matchup?
You know, I've played a whole lot of League of Legends in my time, and the one thing that I do every time I get into a ranked game is I type Z and I click Zoe. I don't really ever want to play against that in any game, and that is my ban in every single ranked game I play. So the Zoe versus Vel'Koz matchup is going to be relatively Zoe-sided, even though Vel'Koz has the range advantage because she's able to get so tricky with all of her abilities here. So tell me, Daniel, what do you do when you go into ranked? Do you ban Zoe too?
Usually I play a lot of top and mid lane usually, but even just for my team, even if I'm not playing a monopile jungle, I usually ban that Gwen right there. I think she's the newest champion in Riot Games, so she's a little bit up there in terms of her power personally. It's either that, maybe the Viego, maybe a
All right, well,
Silas if I'm losing a few games against that, you know what I'm saying?
of playing that champion.
Oh.
There's so much fun. You just snap your scissors a little bit. We won't be seeing her now. I don't think we'll see her at all this series because there's only been a few games played by these players on her, but maybe one of them will break it out in a future game. That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh
She's a
yeah,
lot of fun.
she definitely is. She definitely is right here. So we're going through this champ select. We're just making sure we know exactly where everyone is going to go. And I'm looking at some of these team compositions, and
Right.
NGE, how
So we
these
talked
team
a little
comps
bit
fit
about this
together.
before we got on air, and I know you were very much in the favor of first pick Ashe because of their players' ranks being higher, and I was in favor of not good enough based on the fact that their matchup had gone in their favor in the
Okay.
past. I gotta say, I'm kind of getting on board with you here a little bit, Daniel. This team comp out of first pick Ashe looks so much cleaner, so much more powerful than not good enough's.
Definitely. Definitely. It's just I get that they're getting a lot of counter picks in these lanes over here on the side of not good enough, but I just don't see how these picks are really expected to team fight, into each other. We went with that last pick, Vel'Koz, right there, and what's he gonna do when Jarvan just walks up and EQs? Does he have to blow flash every single time? Like, I just don't see how that can really work for him. We got a really solid amount of dive versus a team with really only Mundo frontline and a very squishy backline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to pick up on that point about only Mundo for the front line here for NGE. One of the really big things when you draft a poke composition with Lux, Ezreal, Vel'Koz, and all these champions that then play around a 1-4 style with Quinn in the side lane and the rest of them in the main you want your main tank to be able to at least have some sort of disengage tool, and Dr. Muno doesn't really apply anything in the form of engage or disengage, which is going to give them a lot of trouble with the team fight oriented composition that's coming out of first pick Ashe.
Yeah, I definitely think that if it was in Henry Waternoose's champ pool, I would have liked to see maybe a Gragas come out or something like that. He could have been pretty good right there, providing engage
Yeah.
and disengage. Or who else do you think would have been a really good pick there instead of the Mundo?
So depending on the player, we always have to consider that a little bit in amateur. I know he's been practicing Sejuani recently, and I think that would have been
Ooh.
excellent here.
Oh yeah,
Especially with that, with the Winter's Bite being able to get that single target lockdown, and then just being able to throw out the bola and get a gigantic AoE stun. That would have helped a lot with NGE's ability to play around the map.
a
That
lot
said,
of melee champions though to combo with though, you know.
yeah, sometimes you draft Sejuani, you don't draft any melee champions, and you just feel a little bit sad, but
Yeah.
I think sometimes that would be a little bit better than Dr. Mundo after he's been gutted and Turbo Chem Tank has also been gutted.
That is true. That is true. Either way, any other final notes you have before we get into this game right here? We're already in the spectator delay. Any other final thoughts you have before we throw it to a little bit of a break?
Yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about what first pick Ashe has been able to put together here, because we didn't really touch all that much on what kind of team fights we should be looking towards or what kind of lane matchups we should be looking towards. So the big thing that's staring me right in the face is Nami Tidal Wave plus Cataclysm combination. Just really huge ultimates going to be coming out from the two of them, and they do help close the gap. But also, like you mentioned, the Vel'Koz is going to have a very tough time in the team fights. Usually you pick the Vel'Koz for the lane, but the Zoe versus Vel'Koz lane is very Zoe-sided, and I'm interested in seeing how I Am Icon is going to perform on this pick, and if he's able to actually land the Sleepy Trouble bubbles that are needed to make the Paddle Stars connect.
I completely agree. You know, this game could go either way, but I got to give it kind of a 60-40 first pick Ashe over here right now. Either way, we have about
60-40.
maybe 70-30. I'm trying to keep it close, you know, trying to bait the audience a little bit so I can get the channel points going, you know, on this prediction that just popped up right here. Either way, we got another minute and a half left here on this spectator delay right here. I'm Daniel Sun 524 with Midget Cow over here on the desk, and we have some really exciting League of Legends action coming to you here in just a moment. So don't touch that browser. We will be right back.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run.
Hello and welcome back to the Risen Rampage Finals. I'm Daniel 524 here with Midget Cow here. We got a very exciting game right here, and I gotta say, based off the draft and based how the Twitch chat is feeling, a lot of people are expecting first pick Ashe to come away with this game 1 victory. But hey, I believe in not good enough. I put about 1,000 points on those guys. I'm really excited to see this one go. We got a level 1 invade happening right here.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I'd love to give you a little bit of time to speak, but oh my god, we got a big Zoe Trouble Bubble landing right here, comboed up with his Jin W, but it is not going to be quick enough to get that extra stun. It's going to pop the bubble and it's going to get away. Probably going to get a little bit of mana flow ban proc over there from Zoe. All in all, not a lot level 1. And whoo, big comet poke right there coming out from the Vel'Koz. What do you think about all this level 1 shenanigan? What does it mean?
Well, importantly, there's been a ward that's been placed in the top side jungle for the side of not good enough that is going to give them a lot of information going into the laning phase. But that said, Deadly Flourish being leveled up for Sparky's Jhin is going to stymie their advantage early on, reduce their pushing power. Plus that, you really don't want to see the mechanical mistakes like that coming out so soon in the game already.
Yeah, that's true. If he could have comboed that with the Zoe Trouble Bubble, get a little bit of that extra, I think it's 1.25 at level 1, I believe.
I believe it's 1 second, but yeah.
That could have been like a potential flash blow over here, but yeah, it is going to be maybe going back to lane with W instead of Q, losing out a little bit of that power early. But hey, it's only going to be for level 1 right there. Overall, we got fairly standard stuff across the board. Like we said, it is going to be the Vel'Koz mid, but it's been an interesting path over here for Mundo, wouldn't you say?
I mean, Mundo going camp to camp to camp is pretty standard. Even with the nerfs, he's still able to do a full clear of his entire jungle. The ward will spot him out going onto that Grump. I'm more interested in Scoothawk. He's gone for the buff to buff Jarvan clear. This typically signifies that there's going to be a big top lane gang coming through, and especially with the Quinn up there, this could be big for Cesario to relieve pressure on him.
Yeah, I really do like this over here coming in for Scoothawk. Like, I don't think Jarvan is really a champion that if you're power farming on him, you're generally like slowly losing the game. You know, he's going to go for the buff to buff, has his level 2. Is he going to get level 3 off of taking this Gromp right here? I believe that gives him level 3, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So he's going to get level 3.
Speaking of what you were saying, though, like the buff to buff power farming, last night we saw Egg Rolls playing Jarvan, and he was not able to capitalize on it. Here he's going to find B-Hop in the lane. He's waiting for the flag, I think, before he engages on this.
Yeah, it seems kind of weird. I would have loved to see a collapse coming out here from Sicario. They're both level 2. It's not like he doesn't
Here comes
have levels
Icon.
for- Ooh, yeah, big EQ coming out over here for that. Jarvan is going to unfortunately miss Baps Quinn. We are going to have the roam coming out here from I Am Zoe on the, or I Am Icon on the Zoe. Is going to hit that Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but no one is able to follow up. And all this time, Henry Waternoose is just farming it up.
Yeah, Waternoose has already hit that level 4 mark on his Mundo. He's coming over here to probably contest the Scuttle Crab, and he's just got that level advantage, that gold advantage. He's just doing a great job with this Mundo pick, even though we criticize it in the pick ban.
Yeah, I know. I don't think the nerfs to Mundo were actually that serious, but I mean, look at how fast his clear speed is. Like, he finished his final camp full clear at about 311 right there. That is Udyr levels of clears right there. That's extremely good for the jungle right there. And he's going to get a Scuttle Crab on the bottom side. I think that this guy, he's setting himself up for a lot here in this mid game, especially if Jarvan doesn't get any gank. Oh, do we have a fight going on here about mid game? He has a smite up.
Scoot!
Ooh. Oh, it is going to be, we're going to be getting that Scuttle Crab right there. It's finally finished up, but he is going to have to deal with the Zoe. He's getting extremely low, and he is going to fall down to the Zoe, who did have her Ignite, to negate a little bit of the healing there from that Mundo passive. She has the Gore Drinker.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god, that bubble. There's no way you should have hit right there. She is not going to be able to get the final last amounts of damage there on the Vel'Koz, and is going to take a tower shot on her way away from that one. Overall, really, really good over there for I Am Icon, being very proactive here on these roams.
Yeah, really fantastic job landing that bubble. Utilize the fall off of the bubble itself to get it inside the minion, which is pretty crazy, and then walked in for the Gore Drinker. This is giving them a lot of priority into the jungle, allowing them for this deep ward to try and track the Mundo a little bit more and get Scoot even further ahead.
Yeah, oftentimes when you say, like, we have a winning matchup here in the mid lane, like, when people say that, they think, like, oh, like, this guy's gonna get a solo kill. right here. But when it's more of like a mage matchup, it's so much different. Like getting roam priority is just so big for your jungler, like both in solo queue and in competitive games. And it's honestly so much easier to win, but just helping your jungler and getting objectives and winning early fights than just trying to solo kill your lane over and over. It's something that really separates a good player from just an okay player.
And meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Cesario really needed a little bit of help, but that pressure that was applied onto B-Hop was more than enough, and he's built up a really sizable CS lead along with this massive wave that's crashing into his tower, so I'm really excited to see what he can do with this Garen pick, and if he can start snowballing himself into a more successful lead, because he's got such a huge XP advantage already.
Yeah, I didn't actually see, I wasn't watching top lane most of the time earlier, but I noticed that Quinn does have a Cole in her inventory, so I would think that maybe she just went for a kind of a mistimed back over there, got that Cole, and is now back in lane. Unfortunately, she is going to be down a lot of experience, down a lot of gold, probably about 10 minions, which is, Cole doesn't actually give you that much gold. I believe it's only 160 bonus after you sell it and everything, so not entirely sure if that was worth it with all that lane pressure she lost. And now we're going to have the level 6 on the Garen. We might be able to see some kind of solo kill happening right here if he has the cojones.
I don't know about that. That seems a little bold. The Quinn's got Ignite, Garen doesn't. Aggression would be ill-founded without boots in the Garen's inventory, but
that's true. I think he could go. He could back. He could get himself some ninja tabbies, and then he comes back, solo kills the Quinn.
Easy game. Definitely could commit the teleport for it after this wave is cleared out.
Oh yeah, definitely. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have Jarvan clearing out a little bit of vision there on that first dragon. It is a mountain dragon, a pretty good early one with when you have kind of a tanky top lane, tanky jungler, a little bit of power goes a long way right there. Meanwhile, Mundo just continuously clearing everywhere on the map, is now a 15 CS over here, almost 4 camps on that Jarvan. That's insane.
Yeah, but critically, he's not really up much in gold because the first blood value was so high, and Jarvan was able to secure a bit of that for himself.
Yeah, only up about 200 gold right now on that Jarvan. He is going to get it back in, probably going to get himself a early Bomby Cinder, maybe some boots, get himself a little bit of move speed. I'm not entirely sure. I know when I play Mundo top, usually I go for boots in my runes, get the free magic footwear, but he's going to actually go for the cloth armor. So maybe he's looking to scrap a little bit here in the jungle. Would you say so?
I am actually a pretty big Mundo aficionado myself, and I do love me some Mundo jungle even before it became meta. When you do play it, you need that Bomby Cinder early because it speeds your clear speed up so much, even more so than the actual boots themselves. And the cloth armor is going to probably be going towards a Bramble Vest.
Ooh, yeah, very big trouble bubble ending there on the Vel'Koz from the Zoe. Just getting these great angles, but meanwhile, they're fighting the bot lane. Nami's going to miss her bubble and is not going to have enough follow-up there to really continue out this trade. Overall, good amount of damage going on to the bot lane over here. Oh my
Crimson.
God, really big bot lane. Yeah, Crimson is going to be taking so much damage over here. It's going to be ticking down for the Ignite. Is going to get this channel of his ultimate. Is it going to be enough? It is not going to be enough to finish off this. So both these mid laners, incredibly low HP, less than 20% right now. And
yeah, Icon was looking for that Prowler's Claw to try and finish off Crimson there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that if she could have maybe comboed it up, if Vel'Koz would have made the mistake and like flashed earlier, she could have picked that up, and I think that could have potentially been a kill right there. But ultimately, yeah, she's just really getting so much pressure in this wave, and poke damage after poke damage coming from this champion. You weren't wrong when you said that this is a really good lane over here for Zoe.
Yeah, it is disgusting how much she can exert on the Vel'Koz, because Vel'Koz typically utilizes his extra range and his geometrical advantage to press on the opposing mid laner, but Zoe is just so much better. She's a 2021 champion compared to Vel'Koz's 2014.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ooh, big combo coming here in the bot lane. It's going to combo up that Lux Binding with the ultimate, with the Ignite, and it's going to be getting Nami extremely low right there. But we have another fight coming here in the top lane. We have I Am Icon slaying Henry Waterhoose here in the jungle. No follow-up over here from Vel'Koz. He was back in base, and he is not going to be able to do anything here in this meanwhile. Meanwhile, Zoe's diving the top lane, is just barely going to miss that Q coming out right there. Had the flash coming out right there. Does not have any more flashes in inventory. And is Quinn getting it away? Are they going to really commit to this? I Am Icon. I did not expect this coming out right here. They have the wave pushing. Zoe's taking a little bit of tower shot. Big flash coming out there from Jaren. But it is going to be the Volt coming out over there from the Quinn, staying alive a little bit longer. Are they going to stay for another wave? They have Henry Waterhoose coming in. Revenge of the Mundo right here. He is, and he has the slow right there. As tenacity, so it probably won't last too long. Meanwhile, he is going to get another cleaver, just slowing down that Zoe. I would be scared right now if I am Zoe. Big man with the cleaver coming after you. I've seen these horror stories. It is going to be Mundo slaying the Zoe right there and trying to go for another one right there on Cesario. He is landing those cleavers. He is seeing this slow. Unfortunately, Garen is very tanky, and Jarvan was trying to go for that. Oh, did he actually get it? Yeah, he got the Herald right here while all that was happening.
He sacrificed Icon for it.
Yeah, yeah. Taking your mid laner for a little bit of a Herald could potentially be worth it, but I think they got a shutdown, so I'm not too big of a fan of that, actually.
Yeah, and all of that is going to equate to a large tempo advantage for first pick Ashe. Oh, they just
wow, I hate to stop this right here, but yeah, they're going to get a huge Vel'Koz ultimate channel combined with all that damage from Henry Waterhoose. People forget that you get like 50 or 60 bonus AD just by activating your E there on the Mundo. He hurts early, especially if you don't have any armor. Unlike the Mundo, who did have his armor, and he is going to get his boots right now, just helping so much with that chase down potential. We've seen so much from Henry Waterhoose. He's had a pretty rough start, but he is starting to come back.
Yeah, and this is the danger of the Mundo jungle. As he builds towards that turbo chem tank, it becomes harder and harder to actually get away from him, and when he stat checks you into the ground, it becomes disastrous for your team.
Oh, yeah.
That said, while not good enough is starting to snowball themselves in terms of actual golden experience advantages, first pick Ashe has put together a very large tempo lead for themselves with the take of that Mountain Drake earlier on and the take of this Rift Herald. They can certainly start looking for this
actually really far out of place right there, and is going to be killed actually by that Nami ultimate KS her AD a little bit right there. I thought Jim was going to get that with the sports shot. But yeah, Ephemeral Void, just for some real weird reason, just
I want the dive,
trying to save that boot. Oh yeah, Jarvan, he activates the Rift Herald actually. He's not just going to get a few plays off this. Oh, he might be doing it to get someone to tank the tower for him. Oh, but Dream Release is going to be hit by that Zoe Trouble Bubble. Huge bubble coming out. Is going to be away, so he's not going to be hit by the second part of that Q. But it is probably going to mean that we might have the tower going down right here. They are able to slay the Rift Herald with that Ezreal ultimate, but 4 members of the NGE coming in trying to stop this tower siege right here. And it looks like first pick Ashe are just going to be walking away from this right here. They might be looking for a fight, but I think they're trying to walk away. That's definitely what they should be doing.
I think they want to get a reset in for a dragon that's coming up in a minute. They did a lot of damage to this tower. They managed to pick up a good amount of gold for themselves into their pockets. Unfortunately, Icon has been pretty off with his paddle stars, even if he's been really on with his trouble bubbles.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it's a deceptively hard skill shot to hit, honestly.
It is very narrow.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not like Janet Q or Morgana fight. You know, we don't have million-year stuns off of huge hitboxes. You know what I'm saying? Or you actually see these Nautilus hook clips coming on Reddit recently.
Exactly, it lacks the the lollipopping that Nautilus hooks have. So a lot of skill shots in League have the lollipop effect, where at the very end of the skill shot, it searches for anything within a circle radius. And Zoe's skill shot does not have that except for the trouble bubble. So when she uses her paddle stars, you have to be deadly accurate with those.
Oh yeah, definitely. But hey, if you do hit it, it is very rewarding. It looks like she doesn't even have vision of this, and she's going to try to go for the steal maybe? Not going to hit it, but is going to have the Sleepy Trouble Bow, getting a huge chunk out on the Vel'Koz as well. Quinn coming in right now. She is going to have to flash away over the wall, but is not in a very good position right here. She is going to get burned down over here by Bop on that Quinn. Meanwhile, Quinn is just hammering down Scoot. Is going to have to flash away from that one right here. Ooh, we did have the follow-up flash over here from the Mundo, but ultimately that's going to mean a kill coming down on the very fed mid lane over here for NGE. And it looks like they're going to try to get a dragon with it, maybe force away the enemy bot lane, who is hammering down that tier 1 bot lane tower, only at 1 plate right here, at about 13 minutes. Ooh, meanwhile, Scoothawk actually gets a huge cataclysm over here on King Crimson. Is going to hit this Q, is going to get the channel, the ultimate. I've seen these red clips, and unfortunately, this is not one of them. He is not going to have enough damage, but he is going to get a few minions over there on the other end of this one. And, whew, just action after action right here in this game.
And one of the big winners of all of this has been Jhin. Sparky has built up a Gale Force for themselves, coming in at an earlier timing than everyone else, other than the Sunfire Aegis that actually Henry was originally building towards. Henry was building towards the Turbo Chem Tank and decided he was so fed with the amount of camps that he's been able to take away from Scoot that he wanted to build the Sunfire for just more damage. So between the two of these champions, they're going to be trying to lead the charge for both of their teams, and I'm looking to see them activate this Jhin a little bit more. It's been kind of contained in this bottom lane for a while now. The amount of damage that comes out of the Jhin with the Gale Force is astronomical and can easily one-shot this Lux if a bubble does land.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I love to see it right here. They are going clearly aggressive
Here comes.
right here. Landing a huge W over there on the Ezreal. But yeah, I think that they're trying to play for this tower, this tier 1 tower, just really engage all this gold that they've been using here on that Jhin. They have this wave building up. I think they could potentially get it here on
It's
this
going to be
next wave.
very
Some pressure.
dangerous. They don't have
Oh, yeah.
much vision around this bottom side of the map, so they won't really know if Henry Waternoose or Crimson DGM are going to come on over to help defend this bottom tier 1 tower. And without that kind of vision and support from your team, it is very difficult to actually crack the last play on the tower.
Oh, yeah. Ezreal
Oh,
actually
no!
using his ultimate right there.
Henry
oh,
failed
wait,
the blast
Henry
cone.
Waternoose. Oh, yeah, he tried to blast cone over that wall, but I mean, I wouldn't lie. That has happened to me a few times before, but it is going to mean he's not going to be getting into the wave when the wave is at the tower and the champions. But he still trying to make this gank work, though. He's Scoot Hawk over here on this. He's going to try to go for the EQ, is going to hit that knockup, is going to have a Cataclysm to block up Henry Waterhoose. He's still alive, though. He's getting to the drain tank, and he is going to be finished off over there by Scoot Hawk. Mini teleports coming in right there. It is going to have Sicario. Fortunately, he will get kited. He is the Garen, a Season 1 champion, but they do have the Lux under the tower. Fourth shot, not going to hit right there, but she is going to be finished up over here by that Garen ultimate. He's trying to get the finish up over here on Dreamley's. Is out of mana, but unfortunately is not going to be caught out by that Garen. 5-3 here, 16 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and because Cesario ended up teleporting down, B-Hop is going to be able to pick up that topside tower in exchange, so this won't be a very negative trade for NGE, even though they do lose members on top of that tower going down. And we're going to need to see if B-Hop can utilize the gold that he's being given up in this topside lane to help propel his team towards victory, or if he's just going to be unable to actually capitalize on it and find the roams utilizing the behind enemy lines to just soar across the map.
Yeah, generally you should be looking for the kind of these leads in lane as Quinn. She's very aggressive. He did take the ignite earlier, but unfortunately hasn't been able to get too much off of that, and is actually down CS on the Garen, even though we've seen all these Garen roams coming out.
Oof.
Oh, yeah, big Q coming out as it get hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. They see him. W coming out is going to have to activate his barrier to get out of here. Jhin, one more auto will do it. Does not have his flash, and oof. King Crimson just living with 0 HP one more time.
Glad to see Sparky actually connect this time with the Deadly Flourish, following up that Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Was not able to do that at level 1, but did it here. And
I think he did connect it. It was just a little bit too late there, level 1, right?
He did. He connected it after the Sleepy Trouble Bubble had turned into its final form, where it does the bonus true damage, but you need to connect it slightly before then because of the timing on Deadly Flourish.
I got you right there. Meanwhile, Scoot Hawk is going to get his second Rift Herald of the game right here at 17 minutes. Use the first one bot lane to crack that tier 1. Hopefully we'll be trying to crack this tier 1 mid lane. This next one. Have another dragon, that Ocean coming out over here for the Ocean Soul in another 50 seconds. So if you choose to use that at a really good time. Ooh, meanwhile, I might got hitting another Sleepy Trouble. Huge damage coming out over here on Ephemeral. Ooh, if he would have used that as Knight there right there, that would have been a kill. That could have been huge over here for his potential dragon fight. But Ephemeral Void probably gonna have to back and go to dragon after this one right there. Very low. A lot of burst coming out here from Zoe.
Yeah, unfortunately, Icon hasn't been able to go back and actually pick up their mythic item yet.
Really big engagement.
I'm
sorry, I'm Crimson is. Yeah, you can just do this kind of stuff right now. On Garen is gonna get Gale Force, or not Gale Force, what's that item called? Stride Breaker from the Garen. Yeah. Q follow up, silence the whole time, E damage into the ultimate finish off right there. Ooh, tried to do the same thing twice, but yeah, looks like Jarvan's going to be using that Rift Herald here in the mid lane. And is it going to be a distraction for the dragon, or are they really going to try to siege this?
This is going down. This is going to be a fight.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight right here. The Nami ultimate coming out as well as the Jhin ultimate right there. Meanwhile, Henry Waternoose is ulting. He is going to try to tank the whole team by himself. I don't know if you're that powerful, but you are going to be walking away with one more kill there for that Jhin. Really kind of a split call coming out over here for NGE. Kind of seems like they had different ideas as to how to play that.
Yeah, and Scoot had a crazy flank coming into the back end of that fight and could have really gone for a whole lot more with a flag drag into Cataclysm across the back line, but ended up deciding he was going to peel for his team because his teammates were very low in HP and he wanted to be the selfless team member instead of the selfish team member.
Yeah, you do see that occasionally right there. Recalls coming out, second dragon, or third dragon in the game coming out over here.
Look at how far back Crimson is playing. He has to play like 2 screens away from the Zoe at this point.
Oh, I mean, when your tier 1 goes down and oh yeah, I was just checking to see if that was Zoe's actual flash or one from her W. But yeah, when you have a champion with that much range against a champion who doesn't have a tier 1 mid to really hide behind, it just looks like that occasionally, you know? He doesn't really have any escapes there on that Vel'Koz. Just damage and slightly less range than Zoe, honestly. Which, again, is why we really both didn't like the pick over here as that R5 mid lane coming out over here for NGE. And now that Baron is on the map, we see both teams really just hovering around it, trying to get a little bit of vision and maybe looking for a fight around this. We have the top lane and the bot lane and the ADC Jhin there in the bot lane. Not really what you want to be with Baron on the map.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, there's a lot of vision that's been coming out of both of these teams, but NGE has actually been doing an excellent job warding up the entirety of their map. They've advanced their ward line to the point where they're able to cover for the fact that their mid tier 1 has gone down, while also clearing up both sides of their jungle entrances in order to be able to play on the map, despite the fact that they're very far behind in terms of tempo and map advantage compared to first pick Ashe.
Ooh, Zoe Trouble Bubble is going to hit. It is not coming out here in the top lane. Ooh, Garen with a massive ultimate and all that damage coming out there onto Ephemeral Voids. Is going to be another kill coming out over here for the top laner of first pick Ashe. Meanwhile, Sparkle is getting flanked over here by Bop. He is going to get ignited. Ignite is ticking down. Will it be enough? It is. Bop is going to get a massive kill over here on the Jhin. Probably getting not quite enough for a shutdown, but it is going to be very massive for their team. Baron is on the map. Maybe they can make something on this. They are going to have Ephemeral Voids come over here in 5, but it's probably just going to be a little bit of gold for the carries on this team. I got to say, you know, not a lot of good is going over here for NGE, but Bop is a little bit of a light in the darkness for him.
Yeah, and honestly, nothing that has been generated by first pick Ashe so far is really insurmountable for NGE. It's a very small gold lead, only about 2,000. Oh, yeah. The gold is pretty much centered on their carries, which is nice, but it doesn't change a whole lot. With some strong team fighting, they could find their way back into this, or if they can just set up some picks utilizing the wards that they have in their jungle, then maybe they could utilize Ephemeral Void's Lux and land a couple light bindings to find their way back into this game.
Yeah, definitely. They do have a lot of tools to be working with here in this game. They have a Mundo who's not that far behind. Actually, even if he is 1-4, they have a lot of random CC with the bindings, with the follow-up, potentially. They could go for a lot right here, but again, team comp-wise, you just have so much more options over here. First pick Ashe, oh, King Crimson getting chunked out once again. But you have the engage, you have the damage to follow up, you have the poke.
Oh no.
Oh, this is a lot of damage coming out right here. Is Bob dead? He is not. He is going to get flashed on over here by the Garen, and he's going to be finished off from that one. Henry Waternoose, a little bit out of sorts right there. Popped his ult. Oh, did not pop his ultimate, but is going to have to flash out of that one right there. Ooh, Luck's coming out here with the ultimate. It's not going to hit anyone, I don't believe, right there. And yeah, with Bob dead, I think this should potentially be a Baron over here for these guys. Henry Waternoose does not have his flash. This could be an easy Baron if they want to go for it, but they're probably just going to go for a little bit more sieging, it looks like.
It's a very risky to try and get into that Baron pit against a poke-oriented team like NG put up here. And if they go and collapse and consolidate themselves within the Baron pit to start DPSing it down with the very low damage carries that they have with Jhin and Zoe, it would be pretty easy for NGE to just rain damage down upon them and then find some kind of fight off the back of that.
Uh-oh. Sicario is a little bit deep right here. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is. He did have his W active, meaning he's not going to be hit by too much over here from this light binding, but yeah, it's just going to be spooking several members of NGE. Another 50 seconds before our 4th strike of the game, potentially 3rd and sole point over here for first pick Ashe. This could be huge for them in terms of map pressure if they are able to get this Ocean Drake right here. You know, generally the meta so far has been fight at Drakes. Hopefully your team gets the soul, has a stronger team fight, and then maybe go for the Baron afterwards. And I gotta say, first pick Ashe are definitely on the way of doing that.
Yeah, especially when we look at the amateur meta, it definitely revolves heavily around getting that soul and goodbye.
I am Icon just doing Zoe things over here.
That soul will be stolen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just what you gotta expect here as this champion. Another 10 seconds before Ocean Drake spawns. You just gotta dodge these things, you know? Oof. That could have been essentially a second kill over there for Zoe. Maybe he could have gotten really low. He had flash and barrier, but boy, played it fast and loose over here against these Zoe trouble rolls.
Yeah, and honestly, Daniel, one of the big things is in the past 2 minutes, we've seen first pick Ashe take down all of the wards that NGE had put up beforehand and convert them all into their control. which has allowed them to really set up these situations where Icon is throwing trouble bubbles from out of vision and just deleting members of NGE's team.
Absolutely, so huge over here for first pick Ashe. Like just controlling all of the map, and, like making opportunities for themselves. And I get that they're not that far ahead in terms of goal, but in terms of like team composition wise, like the things that needed to happen early game over here for NGE, nothing good has been happening for them, and I just don't see a future where things immediately start happening over here for these guys. They just don't have a lot of tools to be using with this draft. They're just certainly giving up a lot of weight to Zoe.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate to see because they had an idea of what they were trying to do with their draft, and then they just kind of threw it away in their last 2 picks when they first picked 3 poke champions and then didn't give them any kind of disengage. As we're seeing, they're just able to throw out a bunch of damage from really far away, but they can't actually make the fight happen, so everyone's just going to walk away, heal up with the Nami, and just not give it. And that'll be that.
I completely agree. I completely agree right here. Baron is still on the map here, 25 minutes in the game. Although it's probably going to be another 3.5 minutes before we see much anything else happening. They've got a lot of wave clear over here. So while they are trying to siege mid lane, they've been working at this tier 2 mid for quite some time right here. Maybe a cheeky Jhin auto or 2 could do this, but then it's just going to be the same thing on their tier 3. Jarvan's really their only source of engage here, and probably mainly the only source of engage here on both teams, and he's just really not playing that aggressive, which might be kind of smart. I mean, they're getting the advantage basically in every other portion of the map, so why go for these like kind of desperate engages, you know?
Well, one of the things to remember here, Daniel, is that all of these champions run really fast. As we're watching Garen run circles around Quinn and Garen over... I am so tongue-tied. They're all running so fast. It's like a horse race.
Yeah, I completely understand. You know, Garen's a champion where he can be kited, but he does build a huge amount of move speed on there. The Stride Breaker into the Dead Man's, and I'm not entirely sure what the third item is going to be. Maybe it's going to be a Black Cleaver over here to help him, which would have given him move speed last season. I don't think is it going to be Sterix?
Yeah, I mean, the Phage is usually built
it.
into the Sterix in order to give him the attack damage steroids, so that when he's doing all of his spins on top of you, he just does massive amounts of damage. Garen's actually really, really prevalent and really powerful down here in the amateur circuits, especially because Baron is often not taken until past the 30-minute mark. Without the sieging potential and the minion buff that Baron brings, Garen is able to just tear through minion waves and then tear through teams because he's able to farm up to this point where he's finished his Sterix gauge and he's just a very strong champion.
Understandable. You know, it's just a completely different game down here than what you see on LCS or even in some higher elo streams. A lot of different things that you have to consider, and a lot of those things affect some of the champions that are being played. And you are correct, it is going to be the Sterix gauge coming out right here, and a lot of damage coming out. Does he even need the ultimate? It looks like he might have to use it anyway. Both flashes blown. Unfortunately, Bap will be getting over the wall, and Garen will not. Baron is still active right here, and that's going to be a really big advantage. Bap's going to have to back after that one. Really rough.
Yeah, and mostly these teams, again, they're just kind of warding Baron as a courtesy. If the Worm were to go down to either of these teams, it would be a very big swing in both tempo and...
are we going to see it? Oh,
almost!
Barely not.
The auto attack was almost enough.
Ooh, but Dream actually is going to get the kill up there with his ultimate, and Scoothawk over there is going to be finished off. Is he going to be finished off? He is going to be finished off, but and a trade kill coming out of there onto I Am Icon over here from Sparkle with that ultimate. He did have his collector, and Ezreal certainly got collected. Ultimately, it's going to be a 1-for-2, actually, in the favor of NGE. Drake is up in another 50 seconds, so it might not mean a fight in the way, or a dragon in the way of NGE, but it might mean a little bit of time to get some good vision over here for this one.
And that's really important because NGE needed to get in here and clear out these wards so they could stop getting hit by the trouble bubbles from, downtown. And hopefully they can make their way into this dragon fight and fight from within the river itself instead of through these choke points that Zoe's been picking them apart within.
Completely agree. I completely agree. 15 seconds right here before this next dragon spawns, and Ezreal did get his revive, is going to have his last whisper for this, and Vel'Koz also getting the Cosmic Drive, giving himself a little bit of extra move speed and CDR for this next fight. Zoe has Orion's focus, just a little bit more damage coming out there. But other than that, fairly standard build, coming out for everyone. Huge chunk over here.
Oh,
And I'm Icon with the finish. Alley-oop coming out over here. 1-2 punch, Garen and Zoe. Not the combination you expect to see, but Henry Watermoose getting collapsed on by Scothawk, and a massive ultimate coming out over here from King Crimson over here on the Vel'Koz. Dreamleaf's actually going to kill the jungler over here for first pick Ashe. Nami Wave used as the disengage, and it is probably going to get them away from it. Zoe, ooh, another huge pick over right over here from Dreamleaf. Is he going to be finished off by that Ignite? Ooh, Garen is going to be followed up. Massive damage and huge, very coordinated team engage right there. And it's going to mean the Dragon Soul going away at first pick Ashe.
And Daniel, we talked about it, the choke point being so important, and NG was able to funnel first pick Ashe into that choke point, landed the Vel'Koz ultimate on their entire team, was obliterating them, but just not quite enough damage to finish the deal, and Icon found this crazy flank from the backside to pick off both bottom lane carries. This is going to lead to the Soul, this is going to lead to a Baron, and this should lead to the end of the game in the favor of first pick Ashe, if they're able to just siege up on this mid lane tier inhibitor turret and roll on through.
Yeah, definitely. Now that they've got Garen tanking the Baron, and they actually are going to let Sparky do his damage right there, this should be a pretty easy Baron for them. Mundo only just respawned. They have Scootop over here with the Smite. I don't really see a world where Bob could maybe make a steal. That just seems really unlikely. But yeah, they're going to get the Baron. They're going to get the siege potential. Is it going to get solved? Let's see. Oh, that was a lot of key cooldowns used over there. We had the Lux ultimate, we had the Ezreal ultimate. That was, you got to sweat some of these Baron steals, especially at this elo.
Yeah, especially after the Smite changes and Smite only doing 900 true damage now. That was a close call. Went down to 812 when he popped it.
Yeah, when I saw that change, I actually thought it might mean that champions like Lux see a little bit more maybe potential to be picked in the meta. You don't really see her in a lot of competitive games, but her combo, if you get either an E and a Q, or an E or a Q comboed with your ultimate, that's well over 1,000 damage after 1 or 2 items on that champion. So a lot of potential steal right there. But against better teams, usually they keep it about 3k, so if you have someone who could potentially steal it. But just something to consider for your solo queue games. You have a lot of steal potential with Lux.
Yeah, and I really do love to see the Lux support down in amateur play, because oftentimes we get to see this fun build with the Luden's Tempest and forgo all the shielding and healing power and different things you can do. Grab that Arcane Comet, grab some damage items, be a third carry for your team, and honestly, the game usually goes long enough you can just, doesn't matter when this guy is
going to have the stride breaker, he's going to miss the knockup, and just getting EQ'd. Ooh, barely mistimes his damage right there, and ultimately Vel'Koz is going to be alive for the rest of this, is going to have to back right here. But no one is here to stop that siege here in the mid lane. Vel'Koz, you're the main source of wave clear for your team. You really can't afford to be top lane with Baron and Power Mins in the mid lane. Is this going to be a in-hit? What are we seeing right here?
I think they're going to wait for Cesario to push down that tier 2 tower before they actually try and push down this inhibitor. It's pretty difficult for them to shove into the poke composition, and they really just want to get their ultimates back together and force a team fight and then roll through the base with that team fight.
Definitely. Meanwhile, third items coming out here. For most of these teams, most notably Jhin, is going to get Gale Force and a Collector. But a massive engage over here for Scootahawk, going very deep. This is going to be followed up by the Jhin W. But we are going to see the Nami ultimate coming out. King Crimson finishing off Scootahawk right there. Woo! Big damage over here for Sparky.
Icon on the side.
I'm an Icon. Yeah, he's really I was going to say he was in a bad position, but when you have your whole team coming over there to help you, that is something you can do. Finishing off. There's so much damage coming out over here from the Zoe, finishing off the Quinn, finishing off so many members of the side of NGE. It's only going to be Vel'Koz and the Mundo to defend this push against the Baron and Power Mins. I think this could potentially be game right over here for first pick Ashe.
Yeah, they're working on those. They're working on the Nexus towers. One goes down, one remains. They're looking to bring this to one game up in the best of 5, slaughtering them on the back line. Final Nexus tower falls. They're onto the Nexus. And there you have it. First pick Ashe will be going up one game in this best of 5 series over not good enough. And they're looking to take this series in dominant fashion after that crazy game 1 that they just ended up becoming so much stronger in.
Huge game 1 over here for first pick Ashe. They didn't really do a good job of getting themselves a gold lead in the early game, but they most certainly outdrafted the enemy team, and kind of just looked a little bit more skilled, honestly, with all these Zoe plays going on. I am Icon, definitely the MVP of that game one right there. Not to say that Sparky and the Jin didn't do absolutely amazing, or Sicario on that Garen, but boy, those Zoe trouble bubbles were absolutely huge over there for them in that game one.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised to see Zoe and Garen making it through the pick ban phase here coming into game two. I mean, they just obliterated their team. That said, the Mundo looked very strong despite getting first blooded on for Henry Waternoose, so I'm wondering if that'll make it through as well.
Yeah, yeah, I think they could potentially lit that one through right there. They did have one or two fights where he seemed pretty strong right there, but there's just so many answers to the Mundo in the meta, and I'm kind of happy to see this rework coming for him pretty soon. Not to say he's bad, but he's just so old feeling. There's so many easy ways to play around him, and I'm just ready to see this game too. Are we going to see the Mundo? Are we not? You see, I know there are changes we might be expecting for this game too.
Um, so the big thing is I really do expect them to play that Mundo again. It is their
Okay.
team icon after all. So if it's not banned, I think that it'll be here again. And I want them to pick a little bit more around that Mundo. The poke plus Mundo is pretty nice, but give him a way to get there. Something that's
Mm.
going to engage you from your top lane. So specifically, I'd really like to see B Hop on the Pantheon with a Gnar.
Ooh. Yeah, I do think that Gnar could have been a very, very good pickup over here for B Hop. His range can dominate that Garen matchup right there. But overall, we're just gonna have to see what they do go for right here in this game too. Any other final thoughts you have before we throw it to a little bit of a break?
Not tonight, Daniel. Let's see what they have for us as we come back from a small break.
All right, we'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to potentially game two over here for the Open Rampage finals between first pick Ashe and Not Good Enough. In that game one, we saw first pick Ashe in very dominant fashion with the Zoe pick, with that Jin pick, with the Garen. And we were just talking about whether or not we're going to see these picks coming out over here in game two. We are ready over here in this champ select. What'd you think about that over here in that game one, Midget Cow?
Daniel, I think the first thing that catches my eye here is we are going to see the team switching sides. So we will see
Oh,
NGE
yeah.
move over to that blue side, and FPA is going to come over to that red side. So I think FPA might need to ban Urgot. Both teams have an
Mm.
Urgot one trick, so they might need to ban that Urgot. And if that becomes a change, then something of Galio, Brand, or Vi is going to be left open. I know those are big picks for NGE. But like you said, we did talk about what bans NGE needs to potentially be considering here, and I think that Garen is going to slot in for that Urgot ban for them, and I'm really hoping to see them ban away that Zoe instead of probably the Volibear.
Oh yeah, if I think one champion is going to get banned out over here in response to this game one, it's probably going to be the Zoe. Yeah, in game one we saw blue side actually ban out some of the one trick champions. Like I think they banned out their own Galio or something like that, or overall just some weird choices in the draft. And I'm really hoping we see different things of here in this game two.
Well,
But
so
yeah,
we saw first pick Ash ban out the Galio, and that was a target ban over onto Ephemeral Voids, which put them onto
oh,
the Lux. And I would say that
okay,
worked out pretty well for them because that Lux looked
yeah.
very questionable at best.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of weird stuff coming out right there. And ooh, we are in the draft right here. And a very quick, almost instant ban on the Garen coming out over here for NGE. They do not want to see that again. And we'll be followed up by the brand being banned out again. And ooh, yeah, very, really good stuff. Volibear is going to be banned out as well. Overall, a lot of similar bans. Are we going to see Zoe coming out? Yeah, Galio being banned out as well. I don't know what we're seeing right here. This is,
Oh,
there it
thank you.
is. There it
Get
is.
that
Yeah,
out of
just as
here.
we predicted. Zoe being banned out on the side of NGE. But most notably, this is leaving up a lot of the champions they did ban. They're choosing
This
not
leaves
to
up
ban the
Ashe.
Ashe. Yeah, that leaves up the Urgot as well. We could potentially see, ooh, NGE. NGE will be first picking Ashe against the first pick Ashe. That is not something you expect to be seeing today.
That is crazy. I mean, they picked Ash first against the team who named themselves after this pick. They've taken the whole clock. They have no idea what to do.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I think Ashe does have a lot of counters. She has a fairly substantial range, but if you got any champions that have any dashes or can go in really against the Ashe,
You
it's
pick
pretty
the
good. They
Kai'Sa.
ooh, they could go for the Kai'Sa. They could go for the Samira. She's very struggles against both of those guys right there. I personally prefer the Samira. You know, I like to make those flashy plays, but it is gonna be the follow up over here with that Jarvan. Wasn't really the standout on his team. Did have a lot of really good plays. Is going to see some buffs next patch, so maybe we'll see a little bit more of this in the next season. But yeah, Jarvan, looking forward to it. He had the Gourd Drinker, he had the big plays. What is going to be the follow up over here? It's going to be the Orianna. That's a combo. You want to tell us about it?
So the Orianna got nerfed really heavily going into this patch, and a lot of pros have dropped her. But in amateur play, the shockwave from the Orianna when she deposits her ball onto Jarvan, along with that Cataclysm, is something that is pretty much undodgeable because players don't tend to have the reaction time to actually flash the combination. And especially when you're looking at this Ashe who's completely immobile, this is a great way to just delete them off the face of the planet.
This is true. This is true. This could be potentially breaking over here for the side of NGE. And when they have a champion like Vel'Koz as well, he's basically going to serve the same function as the Ashe inside this team fight. He's another long range carry that you could combo the Jarvan Orianna onto as well. We really didn't see a lot of use for him this game one, so it's kind of curious to me that we're seeing him come out again here in this game too. It's a pretty good matchup into Orianna, I think, but team comp wise, he just seemed to struggle a lot. He had one or two moments where he looked good, but other than that, he had a lot of moments where he looked pretty bad as well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and honestly, I expect first pick Ashley to start targeting the jungles again, get that Udyr, get that Sejuani, take them off the table, make sure they can get this Jarvan into a favorable matchup. And then off the back of that, they're going to probably go for a fifth pick top laner. Because the Garen is banned, Cesario's really looking to play that Kale. So I think they want to fifth pick the Kale. And if they're going to go for the fifth pick Kale, B-Hop needs to not play some of his more traditional champions and really needs to look at that Gnar pretty closely or look at that Pantheon really closely and not go towards the Mordekaiser, the Tryndamere, or the Cho'Gath.
I think potentially if you're also looking at frontline for your team while still dominating the Kale, you could look for something like the set there in the top lane. I think that's a very good matchup into Kale. Just rush the Ninja Tabbies in, just really beat her down with all that base damage there on that champion. It will be the Cho'Gath banning out as the last ban over here for FPA. And ooh, the Kale
do
ban.
know about the Kale. All right, so they take the Kale off the table. They take the Tryndamere off the table. This is probably going to push Cesario towards the Urgot. And if the Urgot is what's going to be coming out, you could definitely go for the Mordekaiser if you're NGE here.
Yeah, definitely. And I was talking about this during the break, but you know, Jhin Nami is a combo, but Ezreal Nami is one as well. Sejuani can be picked up over here for
Yeah,
NGE.
and I think this really speaks to the Mordekaiser. Oh,
yeah.
wow, they do play the Gwen, so they're going to bring that out. So we will get to see this broken champion come into play here.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a lot that you can really pick into that, especially if you're looking to frontline for your team. They did ban the Cho'Gath. You could potentially pick the Malphite into it, then you run into the issue of having to build
Malphite or
armor.
Jax. Malphite or Jax would be perfect in this situation.
You could go Jax. I even like Renekton, obviously a little bit right here, but they are going to be going for that Urgot. How do you feel about this Urgot-Gwen matchup, man?
All right, so I said that they were probably going to push towards that pick 5 Urgot for Cesario. I do think the Urgot lanes pretty well into the Gwen. It's not necessarily Urgot favored as the lane goes longer, but he has very strong early game. He's able to match up pretty well into the Gwen in the skirmishing, and he can certainly do some damage, especially when you're looking at the Sejuani and the Rakan that are going to be flying in, and Urgot can absolutely decimate these tankier champions.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of percent max health damage over there with the shotgun knees, and I think there's actually a new build going around. Not necessarily build, but
yeah, the Black Cleaver build.
Yeah, the Black Cleaver build, that is true, but also Qmax on the Urgot. I think I've seen Tyler One doing a lot on his stream, and a lot of other pros have been considering it. I've seen some talk on certain streams. But yeah, it does give him a lot more lane dominance, which could be very useful here against the Gwen. Does delay his W level 8 power spike that you usually get from maxing W. But we'll have to see what he really values here in this matchup. But what do you think about all this? What do you think we're going to see?
So the first thing that strikes my eye is that Ezreal Nami in the bottom lane. We're seeing the return of the Nami of Apriella. They played very well on it in the previous game, and their tidal waves were very on point. So I'm looking towards that to be one of the key points in this matchup, as the Ezreal Nami typically fares very well into Ashe Rakan, is able to match them poke for poke, sustain for sustain.
I think if we consider the junglers too as well, I think that Jarvan has a lot of early power to potentially punish that Ashe pick, while Sejuani really wants a little bit more time to scale and be more relevant in these team fights, you know?
Yeah, and speaking of the Jarvan having that early game power, when we pair that up with the Ezreal Nami's early game power or the Urgot's early game power, we could see him making some aggressive invades to try and take away the Sejuani's space and delay her ability to get to that level 6 and help out the Vel'Koz against the Orianna or help out Gwen against the Urgot.
That is true. That is true. A lot of potential options to be going for here in this game. Already we're just seeing confirmation that champions are going where they're going. You know, it's going to be the Gwen in the top lane versus the Urgot, Vel'Koz versus the Orianna in the mid lane. And, you know, we did talk about this a little bit earlier, but yeah, Vel'Koz into Zoe, not a really good matchup. But Vel'Koz, someone with this much range against someone like the Orianna, I think Vel'Koz is actually a pretty good counter pick over there to Orianna. Usually when you play against someone like an Orianna or like an Azir, really like these mid-range kind of mages, you go for even more range to really look for the counter right there. Someone like a Lux or a Xerath or potentially a Ziggs, even though they're not really meta right now. But King Crimson, if he's feeling comfortable here on the Vel'Koz, this could potentially be a much better game against the Orianna. He is still going to have to contend with the Jarvan. He is still going to have to contend with the Nami wave. But I'm actually excited to see what this man could potentially do with this pick here in game 2.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, the Vel'Koz into Orianna matchup, very Vel'Koz sided. Statistically speaking, it's actually just a straight 60-40 matchup that gets even worse the higher elo you go. Orianna gets decimated in this, usually gets killed. Vel'Koz just has the ability to apply so much pressure on mid laners that can't match them in range. And Orianna's range is considered about mid-range, where Vel'Koz is considered the peak of range minus Zoe.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just like think about the matchup in terms of wave clear, Vel'Koz wins there. In terms of kill pressure, Vel'Koz wins there. You know, in terms of roam priority, at least in the early game, Vel'Koz wins there. I'd say the one area where he doesn't necessarily win out is the 2v2 with his jungler versus the Jarvan Orianna. So maybe we could see a little bit of that coming out, and here's something you have to consider going into this game too. Any other final thoughts that you have before we throw it to a little bit of a break?
Yeah, one of the big things that I want to mention about that Vel'Koz Orianna matchup is that the Vel'Koz can often utilize his ultimate and just throw it out there to just laser beam you down to around 20% HP, send you onto a back, and get a really good priority moment to either set up around an objective or roam to an objective. So if Orianna is unable to contend with this and either shockwave him out of the ultimate or find another route, then IM Icon is going to have a large time that he's spent just running back from the fountain and not able to put presence on the map.
I completely agree. Definitely something we're going to have to consider for this game too. Either way, we have another 2 minutes here of this spectator delay before we start loading in. So we're going to throw it to a little bit of a break right here. Don't go anywhere. We have some exciting League of Legends action here at Risen Esports, so you better stick around.
Take a moment right here. feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
And welcome back to Game 2 over here at Esports here in the Open Rampage Finals. Not good enough versus first pick Ashe. Game 1, we saw pretty one-sided matchup over here from first pick Ashe, but Game 2, we think we might have a little bit more excitement. Wouldn't you say over here, Midget Cal?
Yeah, and we're not really seeing that same level 1 invade that first pick Ashe went for last time around. So we're just seeing that 5-point style come out. They're going to try and defend their entrances as well as they can. Cesario going for a little bit of early aggression, wants that early ward to try and get some extra information for his jungler Scoot. But I think it's just going to be standard pathing between these two junglers.
Yeah, overall, pretty standard stuff. Not expecting too much level 1 pressure over here from either of these teams. Even if they do
Scoot.
potentially have a little bit of options, what would they could go for? Ooh, King Crimson getting a little bit of poke right there.
Yeah, that's actually going to stop Scoot from going back and picking up his Oracle Lens, which may deny him his first gank of the game pretty effectively. Punishment for going for that Pixel Ward and then recalling very close to the bush itself.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely something you really have to consider over there when going for these sort of things. Which mid laner has a lot of range, which mid laner doesn't. Ooh, big level 1 coming out right there. Urgot actually has a pretty deceptively good level 1, especially with his E, with the shielding, with the damage right there. Especially when you go for press the attack. And maybe that's something BAP won't consider over here. Maybe we'll see a little bit of advantage come out. But it's not looking like it right there. Overall, pretty standard stuff.
Last game we saw BAP go with the Ignite when playing the Quinn. And here bringing the teleport with the Gwen means that they're not really looking for that many skirmishes or engages, but they do have the Doran's Blade compared to the Doran's Shield coming out of Cesario, so they will have a bit of a rough time up here sustaining compared to the Urgot.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. It's kind of weird that you do go for the Blade early on the Gwen. She has a lot of early auto attack based damage, even though she is an AP champion. One of the few champions in the games that can really do that. Up there with Kennen. You know of anyone else that can do that?
LeBlanc used to be able to do it for a long time. They then made sure that they removed those Trinity Force builds from her build path.
Yeah. Probably
and
Italy,
Akali
right?
also.
Oh, Kali, yeah. Forgot about that one right there. But overall, yeah, fairly standard stuff. Not too much early aggression from either of these junglers. From Jarvan, we saw a path blue into Gromp, and now into red right here. He is going to get that level 3. Maybe he's looking for something on the top side. And pretty similar path over here for the Sejuani. Both junglers really want to be early present top side, and I don't think Urgot knows this. He is going to be spawning out Sejuani on ward, but it's going to be the 2v2 coming out right here. Huge step 2 coming out over there for the Quinn. It's going to be getting very, very low here on the Urgot, but a huge EQ WQ combo, or yeah, coming out over here for the Jarvan is going to be first blood coming out over there for him, and a kill traded up over here from Bob. Flash is coming out all across the board.
You cannot disrespect this champion. For our viewers who may not have seen Gwen much since she's very new to League of Legends roster, with her large pair of scissors modeled after some anime girls that you may or may not be very well aware of, she just does truckloads of damage. When you stand inside those scissors when she goes snip, 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 you just take like 6 or 7 auto attacks worth of damage for no particularly good reason.
Oh yeah, definitely helps you kill the enemy laner, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Depends on if you've got your Comley on or not.
Yeah, definitely right there. But yeah, a little bit of poke coming out here from both sides. The Ezreal coming out in the consistent Ashe W doing a little bit of extra damage over here on the
Henry.
side, but she doesn't see the Jarvan. Jarvan's actually getting a very good flank right here. Meanwhile, Sejuani's trying to make something happen mid. Both junglers will be spotted out though, and it's just gonna mean nothing really happening. Ooh, Henry Waters is going for it though. Is the only melee here against Orianna. Will be able to pop her phase rush, gonna get away from this one, and gonna look for some auto attacks on the back end of that trade. Meanwhile, the bot lane is completely left lane over here for the side of NGE. They're trying to get something on the Jarvan, but they're gonna end up giving a little bit of free farm away to FPA's bot lane.
Yeah, and I really do like to see the bottom lanes roaming. A lot of times in amateur play, you won't see players roam nearly enough. They traded two melee minions for a large amount of pressure that then buffered up King Crimson in his lane, and is going to really help their mid laner to try and get a foothold in this lane where even though he has a large champion advantage, he's just being outplayed by Icon pretty consistently.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree right here. And now Bap still has those double buffs from that kill he got earlier. Really just doing a lot to pressure Urgot right here. Keep him under his own tower. Is now going to be getting it back right here. We're going to have to see what the early buy is. Are we going to see boots? Or are we going to see a little bit of in the way of that leeching leer? And it looks like it is going to be that and a dark seal to boot. Very, very aggressive here from the top lane. Hopefully see a little bit more coming on here from Sejuani in the top side. This could be a completely different game if Gwen continues to get an advantage here.
Yeah, Gwen is one of those champions that when she snowballs, she can actually just take on your entire team all at once. Ooh, just barely out of range on that.
Yeah,
but
he did use his flash earlier, so he wasn't able to combo right there. But yeah, King Crimson sticking around here in the mid lane. Actually, he's playing a different skin from earlier.
He's got a barrier. He should be okay. And Henry's coming in from the side. There's a shockwave available.
Yeah, I think that this could have been a play over here if Vel'Koz did have his level 6. Could have potentially meant to kill over here on the Orianna, but unfortunately is low on mana and is low on experience right here. Is going to get it from this wave, however. Jarvan did back. I think they saw it. Is he going to go for this? Oh, he is. He's going to use that ultimate just like you predicted. Get the chunk out over here on the Orianna. Actually is going to force out the flash instead of getting the kill right there. And is getting a little bit of extra pressure to boot on that. Really good play over here from King Crimson.
Yeah, and this is one of the things you see from Vel'Koz players. When they get to the higher levels of experience, what they start doing is they turn on the Lifeform Disintegration Ray after maxing the Void Rift. They have 2 charges of Void Rift. They can instantly drop those to clear out most minion waves. When the cannon wave comes, Lifeform Disintegration Ray, hit the mid laner, hit the wave, and just go make a play around the map.
Love to see it. Let's see it. And ultimately, it is going to be the teleport coming out over there from the Orianna. Use it over there to save her wave a little bit. Ooh, is going to try to combo it up there with the ultimate, but it's going to be the flash coming out over there for King Crimson. I think that he could have probably used his barrier instead to get out of that one. Did he really need a flash?
Absolutely. With the phase rush, Orianna would have just chased him down. Unfortunately, he tried to use the Tectonic Disruption to knock up Orianna when she arrived from the teleport. He mistimed it by about a quarter of a second, and that ended up forcing him to flash because he expected to be able to land his own ability.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I didn't even notice that play was happening right there, but I guess it was. Meanwhile, still 1-1 over here, about 7.5 minutes into the game. Not too much aggression right now. Looking at some of the CS totals, we're actually seeing pretty good CS leads for most members of the side of FPA. That comes with having a little bit higher of a rank, but fairly standard stuff. You know, we did say Urgot was going to have an easier time in lane against the Gwen, and he's keeping pretty even, despite the fact that she got a little bit of that early lead right there to help her. First dragon is on the map here. It is going to be a mountain, and we saw a little bit of pressure right there, but looks like they're just zoning off of this. They do not want to go for an early mount and get a lot of pressure.
One of the big things for FBA's composition is that they want to scale pretty well. They want to get to that first item. When they get their mythics through and Urgot's got his Stride Breaker, you see Ezreal starting to pick up his Manamune. The different pieces that come together for this team will allow them to fight much more effectively than when they're on their scraps that they have right now. So they're trying to avoid skirmishes where they can and just get information. We've seen Icon invade quite a few times to put down this ward over by Raptor's side, and we've seen a lot of wards that are being placed defensively down towards the bottom side in order to help stymie any aggression.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this at all yet, but yeah, Scoothawk actually just got an invade there against Henry Waterhoose on the Sejuani. He was able to get that blue buff away, but she has that level 6. Might be going for something here against Iron Iconic. Let's see. Got the W. He's going to manage to get that stun. He's going to have the W. Big ultimate coming out there from Vel'Koz. Is going to be the kill there on the Orianna.
And this is the thing with the Lifeform Disintegration Ray. It's one of the lowest cooldown ultimates in the game, coming in at 90 seconds at rank 1, with the base cooldown reduction that you usually get on Vel'Koz. And this means that he's able to just throw it out willy-nilly, and has it for forcing him out before that, and then getting the kill now.
Yeah, definitely. Henry Waters is going to go from mid to top lane right there. And it's going to be copied across the map over here from Scoobhop, going for a play here in the bottom side. Level 6 is available for everyone. Huge ultimates coming out from the Ezreal and the Nami. Still have the Ashe ultimate available, but is not going to be used before she dies. Ephemeral Void is going to have to flash out of that one, but it's going to mean another kill coming over there for the Ezreal. Sparky, massive play over here.
Yeah, and Sparky's going to be able to go back and turn that into his... Probably going to pick up the Manamune here, and then look to go from Manamune into the Duskblade. Typical lethality Ezreal build. Really powerful in the current patch, and he's already at 140 stacks on his tier. This could be a 14 or 15 minute turn on for the Manamune into the Miramana, which would be disastrous for the side of NGE.
That's true. Usually, I've been seeing some different Ezreal builds. So I've been seeing a lot of Ezreals abuse these Sunderer buffs coming out right here. It's been an extremely powerful item on this patch, and yeah, the early Sheen makes me think that he is actually going to go for that early Sunderer into the Manamune, maybe? That's what I've been seeing on a lot of LCS. It could be either one, though.
So, while the Sunderer build has become a lot more popular and is a lot stronger, typically you don't see it with this rune setup. With the Sheen that you mentioned and the Phage, it's clearly he's definitely going for the Divine Sunderer. Going to be playing towards the buffs that were given to that item in order to make it more effective for range users. I do like this build. It's going to be very effective against Gwen, very effective against Sejuani.
Ooh, definitely. Definitely right there. Now Jarvan still hovering the bot side. They did get that dragon, actually. We didn't talk about that. So that early mountain dragon would be pretty good over there for the Urgot, for the Jarvan in the early game. They have pretty good base stats over there on those champions. And big Orianna to cancel the Vel'Koz ultimate right there is going to mean nothing for nothing in that kind of a trade happening.
Henry's on the backside. He could look for something.
He could. You
gotta pull the trigger, buddy.
Still. Ooh, let's see it. Let's see it. Do you have flash available? Ooh, it's not going to be followed up. Ooh, big Q, though, is going to flash away from that. Is going to miss his W. Very, very unfortunate right there. You know, he didn't have the Vel'Koz ultimate for the damage there in that one. Would have been a kill otherwise. Ooh, King Crimson get a little close to Scoothawk. Is going to have to flash out, but he's going to be followed up over there by that Jarvan. And I am Icon going to be coming in there with that QW on the Orianna for the kill.
Cesario.
While Henry Water, who's in the top side. Ooh, Sicario, he's going pretty deep. Does have his ultimate available, but I don't think he has the mana for it. Is going to have to flash away Henry Water, who's missing out on that second half of the W. Ultimate coming over here for Bap there on the Gwen, and it is going to be killed going over there for Gwen. Ooh, huge ultimate coming there for Ezreal. Unfortunately, is not going to be enough to save the Nami on the bottom half of the map, although they are getting very low. Ephemeral Void's only about a 200 HP. Dream did use his ultimate to get a really good engage there on that fight, and a big kill going the way of the bot side of NGE.
Yeah, unfortunately, Apriella didn't utilize the Ignite before going down. Sometimes you gotta just commit the Ignite in order to make sure that your AD carry can trade back.
Okay. Like to see it. Like to see it right there. Ooh, Sparky is actually staying in this kind of matchup despite having the engage
Got Scoot coming in.
Oh, yeah,
teleport too.
Coming in as well. Cesario might be able to make something happen. It was actually I am Icon with the teleport on this one. Is trying to go for it. Is going to whiff the ultimate. Hate to see it right there. Ephemeral Voids is going to have his dash in. Yeah, these guys are getting out. Really unfortunate they weren't able to get something off of that play.
Yeah, sometimes you're just in a scenario where you're looking for a bigger play to happen off of a smaller play, and committing the teleport there means that Icon gave up a lot of mid pressure, gave up a plate over to King Crimson, and if he's not careful when re-entering the mid lane, he will die for this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, King Crimson wards where he's standing instead of warding over the wall to get that extra choke point, and will not be able to pick up the kill that he wanted off the back of that play.
Interesting. Definitely something you have to consider when going for those kinds of plays. And while we do have another dragon spawning here, in about a minute 45, usually at about a minute before the dragon spawns is when you want to start looking for your back to get your items in. It takes about 35 seconds, 38 if you have a little less move speed, to walk from your base to the dragon pit. So it's something you definitely have to consider right here when you're going for a really good setup. Ooh, Ezreal procking that shielding over there.
Yeah. One of the big things that we can look at here is the mythics that are coming through with the Riftmaker, the Kraken Slayer, the Gorge Ranker. These all try to change the patterns that these champions have. And Gwen in particular, when she has the Riftmaker online, can start going for the extended trades with the Urgot and start trying to pressure him out of the lane.
Definitely, definitely. Having that sustain right there in your trades definitely makes it a little bit more optimal to go for longer and longer trades rather than like short trades where they could potentially get an advantage and then potentially get another advantage before you have time to really heal up on that wave. Meanwhile, Sejuani is looking for a play under the bot lane tower. It looks like he is going to be spotted out by that ward and probably just going to go for a little bit of pressure here. Does not have the option of going for the scuttle that was taken by Jarvan earlier, who is currently on that Rift Herald. If he uses that Rift Herald early, he could potentially distract the enemy team from getting onto that dragon. And yeah, he's going to get that Rift Herald buff and he's potentially going to get himself a little something here too on the top side.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I don't really expect him to drop this Rift Herald topside. He wants to get a reset off and get towards that dragon.
Hold up, Ashe arrow coming out here in the bot lane, but it's, oh, the prediction actually over here from the Rakan. A lot of damage coming out there from the Ashe, and it's going to be enough to get a kill over there. Rakan's going to take that one, but Ashe is going to get the second over here on the bot side. Really good play. Ooh, big ultimate coming out there. Urgot's going to get himself a solo kill on that top side. Kill after kill after kill everywhere on that board. Not what I'm expecting coming out over there from the
Henry's got to watch out. He's going to lose this 1v1.
Yeah, I don't really think you have a lot of damage there on the Sejuani, mainly the way of CC to set up for your team's damage. But yeah, with Sejuani topside, I think Scoothawk should be maybe going for this dragon, but unfortunately
he really wants this mid tower. The mid tower means so much if he's able to take it. It would. Last game we saw Vel'Koz forced to play almost 2 screens away from the Zoe once that mid tower went down because the safety's just not there if this champion cannot have something to protect its back.
Yeah, this isn't going to be quite enough damage to take that mid lane tower right there. And it was kind of weird that Jarvan did go for the Herald place. And usually you want to see people walk a little bit closer to the tower. I think the Herald has a little bit longer of a range than the tower range. So potentially make some plays from relatively safety. Right there, Henry Waterhoose is maybe looking for the steal right here. Both junglers do have their 900 damage smite, so they are going to be pulling this out, are going to be getting a lot away. Ooh, but the Vel'Koz ultimate trying to get Scoothawk flow, and it is going to be smited away over there by Jarvan, Scoothawk on this Jarvan. We did notice that Orianna did use her ultimate to zone Henry Waterhoose off that one very potentially huge play.
Yeah, and Cesario walks down from topside, so it's going to give B-Hop a lot of time to fire away at the top tower. Potentially unlocking this Gwen for more future roams and for potentially playing down towards that bottom side where she has the longer lane. She's actually just going to respect the Urgot and back away, which, given the fact that she did just lose the 1v1, this is probably a smart idea.
Yeah. She doesn't really have boots right now compared to the tier 2 boots over here for the Urgot. Gives them a lot of rundown potential over here on B-Hop on that. I gotta
Read
say
it for the recurve bow.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's not really that much damage that you get here from the recurve bow, and you know, people don't really appreciate it, but like move speed and attack range are the 2 most important stats in the game for any champion. It just seems weird that people don't prioritize them. Ooh, they are going to get a really good engage right here. We do have the ultimate available over here on the Rakan, but Nami ultimate is going to come out with a little bit of a split decision. There's Wani going over here onto the Ezreal. Ezreal still very, very high tempo. Ooh, but B-Hop actually has enough damage. Maybe it wasn't. Greedy play at all going for that. Ooh, meanwhile, Sparky's going to turn it around here onto Waterhoose. Uses his ultimate right here, but Ephemeral Void is going to be able to use his own ultimate to keep this Ezreal in one place for a long enough time for I Am Icon to potentially make a play right here. It does have the ultimate, but Dream is going to get hit by a teleport coming out over here from B-Hop over here on the Gwen, and just barely too late for anything to happen over here onto I Am Icon. Unfortunately, it means that potentially B-Hop could have gotten that tier 1 tower on the top side. Oh, Ephemeral Voids, that's not where you want to be, bud. Oh, shut down. Massive amount of gold going the way of that ore. That could be potentially huge over there. Just gifting so much AP over here for a champion that really loves that stat.
Yeah, and one of the big things is to come off the back of this play, as we're going to see B-Hop fall in a moment here as well. There's a lot of resources that were committed by both of these teams to making all of these small skirmishes happen, with almost every flash in the game being blown, with the exception of Nami's flash, Vel'Koz's flash, and Jarvan's flash. And as we look at the dragon spawning in 2.5 minutes, when that teamfight breaks out, the fact that the carries do not have flashes in order to dodge things like Sejuani's ultimate, Rakan's ultimate, is going to mean that Sparky and Oriana are going to have to play very far back in those team fights or risk being obliterated.
That is true, and it really does speak to the state of the meta right here, where fighting around Dragon is just so much more important than just chasing random kills. Not necessarily what a solo queue player wants to hear. Kills are everything at a certain level of elo. Meanwhile, Dreamly's going for the tower here in the top side, actually ignoring the Ezreal, going for the auto attacks right there, is trying to turn it around. Did use the ultimate right there to stun up the Ezreal. Is it going to be the follow-up? No, Ezreal's still full HP. Meanwhile, bot side, where my directed cam is taking me, is trying to go for a little bit of play here in the tower, but nothing's going to happen. Ooh, meanwhile, Henry Water, who's going to make an appearance here in the top side, going to get the CC onto Ezreal, and is going to be a kill over there for Dream Release. Huge for an AD carry player. Ooh, but meanwhile, Jarvan, he's entering the ring as well. He is trying to get something here on the Ashe. He does dodge out. He didn't have vision there of that bush, and he is going to be, he doesn't have the ultimate. He can't go for this. It's going to be another kill over here for Dream Release. Scoothawk, you can't miss your EQ. You're dead if you do that.
Yeah, bottom side, we saw a really crazy play happen at the same time where Cesario picked up a kill with the Fear Beyond Death, sniping out King Crimson under the tower. And B-Hop is going to capitalize off all of these recalls by potentially killing Icon.
No, it doesn't have the tier 2 boots.
He's got one more. He's got one more.
Yeah.
He can't catch up.
Tier 2 boots are ready than what was that?
He has no boots still.
Yeah.
Daniel, he's going to build an entire Nashor's Tooth before he builds his boots. This is the third time he's missed out on a kill because he just doesn't have boots.
Yeah, this is actually, I see a lot of players doing this. I know my AD carry, actually, for a team that I coach. I have to convince him every game to go for, finish his first item, then immediately go for a tier 2 boot. So you don't want to go for that second item before you finish your boots. Again, move speed, it's so important. You're allowed to run away from fights. You're allowed to chase down people who don't go for these tier 2 boots. It's really just something you have to pay for. Not to mention they're extremely efficient as well as item goes. It's a lot of power that you're missing out on. You know, you could go for the 18 magic pen for an 1100 gold item. You can go for 25 magic resist and the tenacity. Go for ninja tabbies and all the gold that goes with this. It's just so weird not to think people going for this, but meanwhile they are going for the dragon, which is spawning here in about 5 seconds. Both teams looking at 5v5. Everyone's ready. Everyone's here looking for this one. It's not Smash Bros. It's League of Legends. Meanwhile, Urgot is very, very deep. Is going to be caught out by the Vel'Koz ultimate and will be going down right here. Ashe will be getting that kill, but a huge Nami ultimate. Meanwhile, the Sejuani ultimate is going to miss, but is going to get some CC on the front line. She's not very safe. She is going to take down. Oh, so much damage coming out there from the Ezreal, from the Gwen. It is going to mean a kill going over here. A full ace coming out over a 4 first pick.
Icon's Shockwave! Icon's Shockwave, Daniel! He obliterated them! He hit 5 people! He took them to Pound Town!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got one way took it to Pound Town. And that one right there. It is such a good ultimate coming over there from I Am Icon, especially compared to some of the ultimates. You saw this team by Henry Watermoose missing his ultimate completely. The X-Smithy, as they call it, on the Sejuani. And King Crimson only going for the one-man ultimate here against the Urgot on Cesaria. That's a lot of questionable choices right there, but there are no questions that was an ultimate to be seen there for I Am Icon.
Oh my goodness, you're in the grand finals. You're here for your last match of the season. You're trying to take things home. It may only be game 2, but that third dragon means so much for the team, and I Am Icon just comes up so huge with that shockwave after his entire team was being ripped apart by King Crimson and Henry Waternoose, combining their ultimates in such an excellent fashion. He just finds a way to just land it on every single person that matters. Just off the back of that play, they finish up their dragon. They have Soul Point now. In 4 minutes, they can look to secure an Ocean Soul, second one of the series. If they're able to pick up that, we know how things are going to go from there. This Ocean Soul is so powerful, they're going to be able to just roll through these team fights. And Sparky is online at this point. Everyone has come online for both of these teams, so being able to find an ultimate like that in the middle of a chaotic fight is what you want to see from your star player.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I Am Icon. He had the Zoe performance there in the game 1, and now he is absolutely making himself known here in this game too. Huge come up over here for this play. You know, it didn't look like their team fight, but that was enough to swing it there for them. And now with those 3 dragons, they're going to have Soul Point. Baron is on the map. Things are looking huge over here for FTA.
Yeah, and at this point, they need to just move their vision forward. Like, you see Scoot up over on the river. He's got his sweeper out. He's looking for anything that could be swept away. Make sure he peels away the vision so they can start looking towards this
Henry
Baron.
Waterbury is actually going for an engage right here. They do have the ultimate back up. Ezreal's going to use his own
The flame.
huge ultimate over here from Rakan. Belkaz is going to try to channel his own ultimate, but it is going to be stopped over here by the Jarvan EQ very deep on the backline. Gwen is going to try something on the backline, but it's going to be stopped over here by the Urgot. Cesario going to be slacking down that Gwen real quick. Quinn Crimson taking away Scoothawk. Basically, the people who tried to have the backline ended up getting dove themselves. Dove 6 feet under, that is. But meanwhile, Henry Water, who's trying for a re-engagement himself. Cesario so deep right here, almost going to get the kill on the Vel'Koz, but Dream Release with just enough damage to make it their fight instead of the Urgots right here. Ooh, big Nami bubble coming out, but I Am Icon actually is going to kill out the Ashe right there with the clutch QW combo right there. Double kill coming over here for I Am Icon. So I may not be on the Zoe, but you're going to feel those bubbles worth of damage right here.
Yeah, pulling a double lift right there was Dream Release, walking right into the QW from the Orianna. Absolutely obliterated. Gotta respect the AP champions when you're an AD carrying.
I completely agree. He was very large at the time, did have his PV and his Kraken Slayer. Very, very major item spike, 2 items over here for the AD carry pool. But unfortunately, 0 magic resist equals 0 life when trying to fight against Icon. Right here.
Gotta give major props here to Bop, though. Had an excellent flank TP on the only ward that Scoot was not able to find, and finds Sparky with that flank. Without that kill, that fight goes horribly sideways for the side of NGE, and with it, FPA almost loses the fight and only manages to come out ahead because of individual outplays made by Icon and Apriella on the back end of the fight. This does mean that the Baron pressure will not be relieved for NGE, and they need to still try and find their way in there. As you see them starting to set up wards along that river line, and no one is in sight to try and contest this yet, as they've set their sight towards the dragon side of the map, and they may be trying to handshake away the Baron for the dragon that spawns in a minute.
Yeah, and I hate to stop you right quick, but Dreamly is actually a little deep here against the Urgot. The E is going to connect and won't even have to use his ultimate to get a little bit of a kill right there. Well, the dragon is about to spawn. That's a 36-second death timer. Ashe is potentially going to be late over here to this dragon spawn.
She should be on time with the home guards, but she won't be there if a fight breaks out before the dragon. And with the way that FPA has been able to stranglehold all of the
big
vision
TP coming out over here from Urgot. X-Smith the ultimate coming out over here on Sejuani, and Cesario going to be very, very deep in the way. I Am Icon. Henry Watermoose going so deep. Ephemeral Void's trying to get his ultimate activated on here, but is
look for the shockwave.
All that damage. Big ultimate coming over here from Belkaz. Not going to do a lot of damage. He's going to get collapsed on by every member of the side of FPA. And with 5 members available, this is going to be a free Ocean Soul over here for FPA. No jungler even allowed to potentially steal.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just a bit surprised that FPA is not going to walk right on over to the Baron, as the Ephemeral Void's going to fall because of Cesario making a nice little play, finding him in the recall. But they have plenty of time to go just, pick up the Baron and then head back to the Dragon. You don't have to just wait there for those 20 seconds while it spawns.
Yeah, I think that if I was playing this, I would generally just put the Jarvan over here by the Dragon, let him actually soul that himself with this smite, send the rest of my team out to the Baron, and immediately take both these objectives here on the map. Not going for the Baron actually is mean they have to win another fight if they want to get that objective as well. Everyone's out respawning, and that door is closed for FPA.
Yeah, and at this point, it should be trivial for them to win another fight, though. They've put the Ocean Soul in their back pocket. They have a massive gold advantage for their carries. While the gold advantage itself is only about 4,000, their carries are all up about an item to an item and a half on their counterparts upon the opposing team. So at this point, you're really just looking for FPA to find a way to close the game in the least amount of time possible. It's 27 minutes and 20 seconds now. If they collapse on the Baron, take it, and go for an end immediately, they could have this done by the 29.5-minute mark. But otherwise, we might see them drag it towards that 34 minute mark if they just can't find a way to close.
Yeah, and again, that's generally why I think games go so much longer here at this ELO. You see people not playing around objectives well, sometimes throwing fights around objectives, giving up Dragon, extending the game another 5 minutes, extending the game another Baron potential respawn. If they would have played that earlier, they could be potentially sieging down the inhib towers, or even inhibs over here on the side of NGE. If the macro was just there.
Yeah, we see Icon is going off in side lane and trying to pick up blue.
Henry Water is getting a pick right here. It's going to be followed up by the Ashe ultimate. Cesario is getting slow. Does have his E potentially get away, but I don't know if he has the damage for this one right here. Did use the Sejuani ultimate. Ooh, Scoothawk has the EQ out of there. B-Hop making such a big play right here, going so deep against 3 members. Ooh, ultimately it's going to be 1 kill going over the way of NGE. Uh-oh. Oh, Sparky, he is going to get the Ephemeral Voids kill on the backside. Ephemeral Voids, what are you doing there, bud?
Yeah, Icon went and farmed up to level 16 when Bop just teleported away in front of his face. And instead of shockwaving Bop, he let him go through because they decided that it wasn't really going to matter if he finishes that teleport. One of the big things I have to say, though, is NGE has been picking some very questionable fights. I mean, honestly, just bad fights in many circumstances. Over at that Dragon, they decided that they were going to fight 4v5 just because. They felt like they had a good angle, and Henry Waternoose has been the catalyst for all of these fights, just throwing ultimates out there. They've been great ultimates, but your team is not able to follow you up here, buddy. You got to be careful.
Definitely. And every kill that they do go for, they usually have to extend, like, 2, maybe 3 ultimates every single time they look for something. It's really not good in the way of you don't win a 4v5 or a 5v4 without your ultimates. It's just so weird to see them expending all these resources.
There's a big pickup here, Daniel. Dream Release managed to pick up an Executioner's Calling, so that is the first healing reduction item that we've seen come through so far. And right now it's at 263 healing that it's reduced. I want to see what that is at the end of the next team fight, and if it's able to actually help curtail the power of this Ocean Dragon with it reducing all healing by 40%.
Yeah, I didn't even consider the Ocean Dragon right here. I was looking at the team, I was like, I guess Jarvan does have a Gore Drinker and Ezreal has his Divine Sunderer, but yeah, Ocean Drake.
The Ocean Soul has been putting in so much work.
Yeah, these team fights have been relatively even, with FPA barely edging out most of these, but with this Ocean Soul, it's Cesario's going to be tankier, Scoodhawk's be able to tankier. Ezreal, probably one of the best users of the Ocean, is just going to be nigh unkillable. Ooh, huge ultimate over there onto Dream Release, and it's going to be enough combo? No, he's going to miss the ultimate over there from the Ezreal. Ephemeral Void's going to use his passive to get out of there, but
turn around.
Oh my god. Yeah, Sejuani ultimate coming up there with the Vel'Koz ultimate is going to mean a kill of their own. Going to
look for the shockwave
coming through. Henry Waterhoose getting extremely low right there. Not going to use the ultimate to finish that one off right there. Dream Release also extremely low, and ultimately all these cooldowns are expended. It is going to be a kill on the jungler over here with Baron on the map. Are they looking for Baron 4v4?
I really hope so. At this point in the game, you have an Ocean Soul and you're this far ahead. Like, you need to just go take the objectives.
That's true. That is completely true. The one thing I'm looking at is they do still have a lot of carries.
Pops on the backside.
Who are still alive. And I Am Icon is looking for the flank. Cesario really isn't that tanky. Ooh, but Scoodhawk with the damage is going to keep his team alive. Ooh, B-Hop. All that AoE damage is going to absolutely decimate the side of FPA. Triple kill over here for B-Hop. I Am Icon. Can he make the outplay again right here? I don't think so. He's going to be walking away, and it's going to be B-Hop with all these kills. 8 and 4 right now on the Gwen. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and
I Am Icon. All right. Got to give him one on the back end. All right.
You know the Orianna's there and hunting. You can't really just walk through your jungle calmly as a Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
B-Hop manages to find a really nice angle going through the backside of the Baron, and everyone just groups up for the Gwen ultimate to rain down hell upon them, healing a massive amount of damage through that, just picks them apart. And at this point, we have the Elder Dragon spawning in a minute. We may just never see a Baron taken in the entire game because the Elder Dragon power is just so high.
I completely agree. Now we have some very crucial pickups coming up on a lot of these guys. We saw a pretty late tier pickup over here for Orianna, but now it's almost finished up with only less than 100 left for the Archangel staff, and very close to the death cap as well, against a team that's really not seeing too much magic resist built, with Sejuani being only the real tank and the only occasional Mercurial or the Merc Treads coming out over here for the top lane and support. This is going to be a very dangerous Orianna indeed. So much damage over here from these combos.
Yeah, and we're finally starting to see the Gwen unlocked, and this true power of this champion has become...
Oh, we saw the Ashe come up, but it's the QSS actually. Or no, it was the Cleanse. Actually, I didn't even notice that he took Cleanse coming out of here for the Ezreal. Very, very crucial.
Shirelia's and teleport on the flank.
Right here. Yeah, big flank coming out over here. We do have the Urgot coming in here behind everyone. Oh, so deep over here from Waternoose. Not what we want to see. Dream Release getting caught out as well by I Am Iconic with that ultimate. 2 kills easy, and now with Elder Dragon on the map and no jungler with the smite, things are looking very grim over here for NGE.
Yeah, and I Am Icon is just holding this choke point, able to just stop any aggression.
Sparky's going out to him so deep. and it's not going to be enough to activate the Urgot ultimate. Unfortunately, red team is going to get that Elder Dragon. Now they're going to start hammering down the enemy team's base.
Yeah, hopefully they just use this as a go-ahead sign to take the Baron and end this game, put the side of NG out of their misery. At this point, they've just been outclassed in so many different ways. The only thing that's really been holding FPA back is the fact that they haven't been finding gold leads. They've just been finding ways to get their carries fed and then secure all of the objectives on the map, which, you know, it's the sign of a strong team, but there's only as strong as their elo can go, right?
I completely agree. Yeah, now with this Baron taken right here, things are looking very grim for NG. You know, I keep saying that, but things just look grimmer over here, looking like a German fairy tale, if you know what I'm saying. Meanwhile, we do have everyone alive on the side of FPA, and the respawns coming out over here for NGE. But with the Elder Dragon and the Baron buffs coming in the way, I don't really think we're going to see too many more team fights this game.
Yeah, and with the death cap finally being completed here for I Am Icon's Orianna, bringing his damage up to astronomical numbers, he's going to be able to just delete anything that's on the face of the planet with one shockwave at this point.
I completely agree. Yeah, this is looking very, very devastating right here. They have the Baron and Power Minion wave. NGE are hammering down to get themselves a little bit of a wave clear. They have 4 members hovering by that turret for a moment right there. Maybe they can look for a desperate kind of engage, but I think the play right now is just to wait out these buffs.
Yeah, the Elder Dragon should be expiring in about a minute and a half at this point, so there is a little bit of time before they need to actually look for that engage. But once that Elder Dragon is gone, you want to try and find an engage. It's going to be on whether or not Henry Waternoose can find a glacial prison that lands onto I Am Icon. At this point, Sparky is going to be too slippery for you to get to. So you want King Crimson to be dumping his damage into I Am Icon and just removing that Orianna from the map. Otherwise, you have no chance of winning a team fight.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, I really like this from Cesario. They're having a tough time sieging against that Bel'Koz and Ashe wave clear right there. So they're sending their top laner, who has the teleport available, into another lane to get some objectives off the map right here. Pretty great stuff, but they are still getting a very decent siege right here on the mid lane, bring it to half health from this wave almost entirely alone, and 2 towers on the top side. Things are very good for FPA right now.
Yeah, and something that we're not seeing FPA do enough of is Sparky is just not auto-attacking a whole lot with his Ezreal pick. Sometimes Ezreal players get too caught up in the Mystic shots, as Cesario is just going to delete B-Hop. Actually, this arrow...
Cesario going to get by that Ashe arrow right there. A lot of damage follow-up over here from B-Hop, and it is going to be a kill. But meanwhile, the mid lane, Inhib and Tower will both be cracked over here. Are they going to go for the fight right here? Henry Waternoose looks for the ultimate. Unfortunately, does not hit. I Am Iconic. Could have been potentially huge if that did hit.
And one of the big things there was Sparky's able to just clean up that bottom side turret as well, which had been being hammered on by a wave that was well set up earlier on. And here we see just the power of this Orianna, just doing so much damage to Ephemeral Voids when he steps up into this area that FPA has taken for themselves with their wards. But not being able to win with both the Elder Dragon and the Baron in your pockets is a little bit suspect at this point. They're probably going to have to wait for another reset on these buffs for 2.5 minutes from now when the Elder Dragon respawns and try to fight for that again. Because they're very passive with their sieging. They're not actually trying to step up and hit the towers. They're trying to poke the champions instead. Utilize the Orianna ball for some zoning, utilize your Urgot for some zoning, and have Ezreal just hit the tower, and you'll be able to crack these turrets a lot faster.
I completely agree. A lot of curious things come out here for both these teams. With another 2 minutes before the Elder Dragon spawns, that's probably when we're going to see our next fight. Superman's going to have to do some work there in the middle of the map to really create an advantage, making it worth it for them to have taken that tower. Let's get some picks, man. Let's see something happen right here, you know?
They have a lot of wards down. They have their jungle under control for the moment, and they could try to play off these wards and make something happen, but I don't know if they really have the damage in their back pockets to punch through what FPA has presented at this point.
Definitely. I completely agree. Meanwhile, they are going for, it looks like a little bit of a siege here from the bot side, maybe just addressing the waves. I doubt they're looking for the siege right now, you know? I gotta say, for how much power these guys had, they had the Baron buff, they had the Ocean Soul, they had the Elder buff. This is
we got to see some more coming out here for these guys. They're not that strong on the side
Yeah,
of
and they're
NGE.
resetting for this Elder Dragon again. Do you do any cooking yourself, Daniel?
A little bit.
So sometimes when I'm cooking, I tend to overthink things a lot. So I'll get out all these different ingredients in order to make something just as simple as a sandwich, like 6 different kinds of cheeses, 3 different kinds of meat. Right here, right now, FBA, they have the pick of the litter. They could get roast beef, they could get turkey, they could get chicken. Honestly, they could even get steak if they felt like it, and they could put it onto their bread, but they can't figure out if they want rye or if they want wheat, and how they're going to access the win in this game. All they have to do is pick. They don't have to go much further than that.
I completely agree. 20 seconds before this Elder spawns right here. A pick could potentially be huge for either team. Could be game ending right here. And I've said it a few times, but whoever wins this fight, it should be game for them right now.
Arrow!
Ooh, big arrow coming out of here on the side of Scoothawk. And looks not going to win. Cesario is
Look for the shockwave.
Hammered down over there. Ephemeral Void does have his ultimate available, but Scoothawk actually going to go and get a kill on the Ephemeral Voids.
Meanwhile, Henry Water, who's going deep on the enemy backline. Bob is going to try hammer down these guys, but he is going to get hammered down himself. Shut down. Only 2 members decided NGE to potentially make this King Crimson. That's not where you want to use your zombie, but you want to flash it out of there. Ultimate's going to be a full ace over here for the side of FPA. They're going to be teleporting the base. They're looking to end this one.
So Zario's gonna put us out of our misery. Finally end this game, bring us to a game 3 in the series, put FPA on match point, just daka-dakaing all over these 2 Nexus towers. FPA, I gotta hand it to you guys. You found a really great way to get yourselves a lead, but you don't do much when it comes to closing out the game. This is a 40-minute game when you guys got Soul Point at 24, 25 minutes into the game. Like, you gotta step it up in the tempo, guys. You're crushing the opposition. Play through Icon a bit more, and you'll have yourselves a 20-minute stomp on your hands.
I completely agree. They just don't know where they need to be pressuring. They don't really have a good understanding of the macro, but they do have 2 wins here in a Game 5 series. So Game 3 is going to be coming up very, very soon. Anything you're potentially going to be looking at over here for this Game 3? Any bans you want to see? Any changes in strategy maybe from either of these teams?
All right, so NGE made the adaptations we wanted to see. They brought out the Gwen, which honestly, we probably cannot see the Gwen again. That was the closest thing to FBA looking like losing as there was. That Gwen nearly beat them on multiple different team fights where it was just such a force to be reckoned with. It has so much power in it right now. But NGE, you need to dig a bit deeper. You need to find a way to enable your mid laner that isn't Vel'Koz. It's not working.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I don't think Vel'Koz is a bad pick, but it's just so niche that I don't think you can be afforded picking it every single game. I want to see King Crimson on some other pick, see really what he can do before he just doesn't get a chance to do anything anymore,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Stick with us. We will be right back with Game 3 in this best of 5 finals for the Open Rampage title between First Pick Ashe and Not Good Enough. See you soon, right after this break.
Take a moment right here. Feeling like it's out
Welcome back to Risen here, Game 3. We've got an exciting series coming through. We have FPA versus NGE. First pick Ashe have been doing so well this series with a 2-0 over NGE, potentially going for that 3-game sweep. I'm Danielson524 here with my color caster. How do you think about these games?
Oh my goodness, Daniel, going into the third game, FBA's on match point. This could be it. We could have ourselves a really fast finals tonight. We could be in bed well before midnight. I'm kind of excited for that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
definitely.
excited to see the new drafts. It looks like we're going to be getting into them pretty soon, but we got to see some mix-ups from NGE. They're just not finding a way to crack the armor that is FPA. They're getting out-team fought at every angle, and Icon has just been doing crazy things in every single moment that matters.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And part of that is I am Icon just being absolutely huge. And part of that I think is the drafts over here from NGE. They keep trying to go for that Vel'Koz mid, even though it is a pretty good matchup there in the mid lane, but he's just not having the performance that he really needs. You really can't look for some of that stable backline champion against so much dive. We've seen the Jarvan came out game 1 and game 2. That's just not a very good matchup that you should be picking Vel'Koz into. It's so difficult to get a full channel of the ultimate, and I'd really like to see something come out different here for King Crimson.
Yeah, and we're seeing them come into the bans already. With FPA back onto the blue side and NGE over onto the red side. It'll be a mix-up just like game 1. And we saw the Urgot get through last game. It needs to get banned. Cesario just obliterated people with that pick. It was not okay.
Yeah, definitely. Part of that was giving them a really good matchup there against the Gwen, but it's actually the Gwen banned up over here from FPA. There was several fights where she came up absolutely huge, 1v3ing multiple people, making so much space for the team that weirdly they were able to come away on the way. Usually I am Icon with a really good ultimate. Similar bans coming out there from game 2. You know, we saw the Zoe in the game 1, absolutely huge. Garen as well, but Brand, a stable ban through all 3 of these. Orianna actually going to be banned out over here by NGE. I'm not entirely sure if that was really what won them the game. I mean, it's Orianna. It's not like it's a Zoe where you're able to do so much more. It's
that
just
shockwave was game winning. That shockwave won that game. Absolutely.
I agree that the shockwave was very big for them, but so many other champions have abilities that can also solve in the game. It's just like, is Orianna really the pick that you're worried about, you know? And you've done the same thing on some of the other champions.
One of the things is, sometimes you're in these amateur games. All right, first of all, Samira Galio, this is fantastic. This is aggressive. Yeah. This is a different look from NGE. I'm really hoping that it makes something new, because the Galio has been banned in every game until now, and Ephemeral Voids is a Galio one trick, especially paired with this Samira. It makes for a very explosive, powerful bottom lane that can easily destroy the Ashe. So they baited out the Ashe pick from first pick Ashe, and then counter it with this aggressive lane. They're going to need something to defend themselves in that bottom lane. I'm really hoping Apriella goes with the Leona to help stymie that aggression, or with the Morgana to help stop the aggression.
Yeah, I could even see a Thresh actually being a really good pick into these guys. You get the disengage, you get the engage. A lot of options to play around jungler. Most notably, I think they should be looking for a lot of single target CC in these fights. Volibear is certainly it. Ooh, but the Urgot may also be getting through. He's the third pick coming out here for FPA, and it's going to be blind pick there in the top lane. They can pick whoever they want here, except Gwen into it. Who is your pick to destroy Urgot here?
The Tryndamere has been banned in every single match before now, and I was going to get to it, but they picked it before I could even bring it up. This is a pick that both of these top laners play a ton of, and even their jungler plays. So Henry Waternoose may take this into the jungle. We'll have to see after the bans. It's amateur, so I don't make any claims. But
yeah, I mean,
Tryndamere jungle can certainly pop off, especially into a Volibear, where Tryndamere tends to shine by finding those auto-attack oriented matchups. That said, the Ashe really needs a strong pairing to go with it. With this Samira Galio bearing down on it, you really want to see Leona, you really want to see Morgana. Either one of these is going to be what we want to see out of Apriella in order to store up that bottom lane and make sure you don't just give away a million kills to Samira Galio.
Yeah, we are going to see a no ban coming out right here. I'm checking the chat to see if they know anything about what this ban is going to be, because it could affect...
Poppy.
Ooh, Poppy.
So Poppy is a really big pick. Poppy is a really big pick for Scoot. Scoot likes to play some really random champions, but particularly Poppy is one of their big ones. They're probably playing the Volibear. Occasionally they'll play Poppy, occasionally they'll play Shyvana. I like getting rid of the Nami if you didn't pick Samira Galio. You want to see Nami when you're playing Samira Galio. It's a free kill.
Yeah.
They're trying to take Apriella off the comfort, but the Leona is still there, the Morgana is still there. They could even go to the Nautilus. I know you wanted... they also have Janna, but I really would expect them to go to the Morgana. I know you wanted Thresh, but... these are gold players. If they don't play Thresh, they don't play Thresh. And there's no Thresh to be seen in the match history for
I think
years.
gold players will play Thresh, whether or not they play Thresh, in my experience.
This is, you know what, Daniel? My best friend plays Thresh, and he's in gold, but I swear, there's no way he's gold. He plays like he's diamond.
Okay.
He is the hook master. But, then you'll also have the other gold threats where you wonder what it is that they were looking at when they throw the hook, and if they closed their eyes and just kind of spun in a circle, or if they actually had something in mind. So the Tryndamere will go to that top lane. The Xin Zhao is going to be picked up for the jungle. This is the aggressive look from NGE that we were hoping to see to try and make something else happen. They're going to go for that round 5 counter pick, and all I want to see from them for this last pick, even though it doesn't necessarily fit your composition well, I want to see them pick the Kassadin for Henry Waternoose.
I would actually really like Kassadin right here. They are very far in the way missing out on a lot of magic damage.
There it is. Yes, give me the Leona. That is what I wanted to see. That is what we need in order to stop the Samira Galio from destroying you in that lane. And follow it up. Get yourself a priority-oriented mid laner. Give yourself like the Victor maybe. Yone is open, but don't be baited. Don't be baited into the Yone. They will certainly counterpick your Yone with the Kassadin, or counterpick it with something else like potentially Aurelia, and you're going to have a bad time.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have only a few more seconds left. What's it going to be?
It's the Victor. So this is it. This is where you can go for the Kassadin angle. No, it's the wrong Void creature.
Yeah, there's two ends of the coin right here. Are they going to go for the Kassadin, get themselves a really good matchup right here? Or are they going to keep going for the Vel'Koz? Man.
I feel so deflated. It's like you pump the balloon all the way up and then just take it right out.
Oh yeah. Taking it out with a little bit of a laser right here, coming out here. For Vel'Koz for the 3rd game in a row over here. For King Crimson. Did not play well game 1. Game 2, got himself a really good matchup. Had a few good team fights, but just really was not justifying the pick. Game 3, I think this is a pretty good matchup over here into Victor. Before he gets his E-Evolve, you have definitely a really good split push potential. Probably not as good as the Orianna matchup is, with the Victor ultimate available, but why are we picking the Vel'Koz 3 games in a row, man? That's all I want to ask these guys,
All right, sometimes you feel uncomfortable, you're getting gapped by the enemy in the mid laner, you gotta find something that you can just play comfortably, and the Vel'Koz is his pick. His brand has been banned away in every single game, so he's doing his job in the pick ban, right? Mm-hmm. So if your team doesn't trust you to play the carries, and they don't trust you to play the carries, they've already got 3 threats with Tryndamere, Xin, and Samira, so maybe the Vel'Koz can just sit back, chill, kind of scale up, do his thing. I haven't been impressed with it yet. He's done some good moments on it, but it hasn't been good enough. I want to see if this Tryndamere rips apart the Urgot, though.
Oh, that's definitely something I'm going to be looking at over here for this game. Tryndamere is a champion where, you can go like something really aggressive like Ghost Ignite for the lane right there and really punish down your opponent. He has a Xin Zhao to back him up. Probably one of the best early game junglers in the league right here. I definitely expect this guy to be playing around that top side right there. Get the gang stuff on the Urgot. Get the gang stuff on Victor. A lot of champions you can potentially punish right here. You could even look for the gang stuff in the bot lane right there. Get Samira a little bit of an early lead. I'm going to be spending so much time looking at my man Henry Waternoose here in the jungle. If my man can pop off and get ganks in every single lane, this could be what they need on the side of NGE to come back in this one.
Yeah, and Daniel, I want to call back to at the very beginning of this series, we talked about pro play versus amateur, and you mentioned how a lot of the meta picks weren't something that either of these teams play. Now, Xin Zhao for NGE, Xin Zhao has been dominating pro play. He's so strong right now. Absolute monster. 3 different build paths you can go. All of them provide different angles of attack for your team. And here in the hands of Henry Waternoose, who's been ridiculously aggressive when it comes to forcing team fights, I want to see if he can make it work and if he can take his team home to a 4th game in this series and stop it from being just a stop and make it that series, or if FPA is going to say, we're having none of your aggression, we've got an Urgot, we've got a Volibear, we've got a Victor, we've got a Leona, we've got an Ashe. All of these champions are designed to stop aggression and stop you from just jumping on them.
I completely agree. I completely agree. You know, I'm looking at how these team fights are going to go, and I'm really just saying to myself, how do you win a team fight on the side of NGE? I mean, there is like the dream scenario where you get like a flash WE on the backline as Zinzao. You have the Galio follow-up right there. He's too tanky to be immediately killed. And while you have that, you have Samira just getting her ultimate off, decimating the backline, and Vel'Koz killing everyone at the same time. But like, that's just so unlikely to happen. I feel like first pick Ashe has so many engage tools in the Ashe, in the Leona, in the Volibear ultimate, right? They're all followed up by an Urgot. I think it's easier to play first pick Ashe's team comp. Not good enough, doesn't team fight well enough. They barely out split push, assuming the Tryndamere gets the lead, which is easily something that could not happen against the Urgot if he messes up early. There are ways that NGE can win, but I am looking at first pick Ashe to come away with 3-0 in this series.
You know, I'm going to disagree with you a bit here, Daniel. While I do think first pick Ashe is going to win, just because they've been looking so dominant, and I Am Icon is on that Victor, and Victor is a crazy champion when it comes to 1v9ing, and he's been shining in this series so far. NGE's composition is a lot easier to execute than I think you're giving it credit for. All you have to do is press Q on Zinzao, jump in there, ultimate, so that you can't be hit from anything that's not directly on top of you. And if they come into the ultimate, Galio ults. If they don't come into the ultimate, Galio ults. And once Galio is coming in there, Samira dog piles in, Tryndamere dog piles in. Everyone can just go forwards on this team except for Vel'Koz, and then Vel'Koz just sits back and just kind of does his thing, firing away from afar.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at FBA. FBA, they've got little Solar Flare from Leona, they've got Volibear, they've got Urgot. These are all champions that can try to make a long-range engage happen, but they're not necessarily super consistent. So, you know, like, talk me through, like, what is FBA going to do here if they're trying to make an engage happen compared to NGE just, like, throwing their bodies at them physically?
I mean, you just so have so many pick tools over here for FPE. Even if NGE do try to go for that, like if they're not perfectly coordinated, which I get it, they are in a 5v5, like there's just so much to punish a bad engage over here from a Zinzao or from a Tryndamere, who you did assume was going to be team fighting with this team and not just trying to 1v9 in a side lane, you know?
This is true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if the disengage from FBA is going to be enough to stymie the aggression coming out of NGE's full court press composition. They're looking to just run at you, get aggressive, and put the lights out to take a game 4. We'll be back in just under a minute for game 3's action as FBA is 2-0 up in the series and looking to put the lights out on NGE.
All right, see you then. and welcome back to Risen Esports Open Rampage Finals. I'm Danielson524 here with Mitchell and Not Good Enough versus First Pick Ashe and potentially the final game of the series. It is 2-0 favored for First Pick Ashe, but some interesting team compositions and a few wacky picks coming out here in Game 3 could potentially break this series open. We're going to have to see, but maybe an invade is going to be something for this game. King Crimson zooming in pretty quick to these guys. Is he going to get caught out? Oh! What is this? Oh, he's not going to get hit, but he is going to get ignited. First blood going over here for Sparky. Not looking good for King Crimson.
And this is the exact same invade that FPA pulled in game 1 of this series. They go to the same spot, and this time King Crimson just wanders right on into them. That is going to mean that Sparky can get the recall off for the early longsword, plus additional healing pot, which means Dream Release is going to have a really hard time getting ahead, especially because they took Cleanse on Dream Release and Ignite on Ephemeral Void, so they're down a Combat Summer compared to Apriella and Sparky in that bottom lane, where you really want to see the sparks fly early between those two aggressors.
Yeah, I completely agree. A lot of missing pings coming out there on King Crimson, but just weird that was able to work out that way. They got the entire team over there to that bush before King Crimson. I guess he loaded in a few seconds late there, maybe took a while to decide that he wanted the Dorn ring. It just seems kind of weird that this kind of a thing could happen in this game. And that's something we didn't even talk about over here. Was Cesario able to get himself a little bit of vision there on the top side, warding the enemy of red buff to make sure they knew exactly what this path was going to be on the side of Henry Waternoose, who is on the Xin this pick. He's not on a tank like the Mundo or the Sejuani. He's looking to make things happen. This vision's going to be really punishing.
Yeah, and honestly, Henry Waternoose was known for his Xin Zhao before Xin Zhao was in the meta. Xin Zhao's now in the meta and like one of the best junglers in the game. So if you really are an NGE fan and you're looking for something that can get them back into this series, this is the pick that might be able to make something happen. This ward will fade on the red buff likely right before Henry Waternoose gets there. Oh no, he's actually going a little bit too fast. Oh, it fades. Okay, so they're not going to know that he started the red. They may think he's going for the 7 camp clear. If that happens, then Cesario may overextend a little bit too much, and Bop also has Ignite up here for his Tryndamere. That could be a very easy first blood secured onto the Urgot for the Tryndamere.
I agree. I completely agree. This is why you always got to ward that bush right next to the Raptors. A little bit right there. It gives you a little bit better vision. And although it's a little bit harder to place, can be punished, but it's definitely a better ward to be placing. And exactly what you predicted. Henry Waternoose on the Xin Zhao, making his way top lane. Bop a little bit deep right here. We do have the flash available on Cesario and the E. It's going to be enough to keep him safe, but Bop getting extremely low on that kind of thing. Is going to have the Q for sustain, but maybe we'll see Henry Waternoose with the continued evade. Oh, it's going to be another gank right here. He's going to get the Q. Oh, dude, he doesn't have the E yet. He doesn't have the E, and Bop is going to get the kill right there. Volibear making his way topside. Is he going to try to fight this one? Ooh, very good.
He can win this.
With the E. Yeah, he can easily win this. Has his flash available. Does he have his Q? Oh, Xin Zhao has his E available right here. Do we have an E available or anything from Scoothawk? No, we have nothing. And nothing is going to be what they're walking away with right here. Meanwhile, NGE walks away with a kill over here for one of the most evil top laners with a kill. This guy, you don't want to be giving kills away to Tryndamere.
Okay, there's a saving grace though. Tryndamere's going to go back, he's going to get a couple items, but Cesario should be able to crash this wave before Tryndamere can get there in time and deny a lot of golden experience. Because of that, Urgot scales a lot faster than Tryndamere does, and can have some really unique interactions between the two champions, between Fear Beyond Death and Tryndamere's ability Undying Rage. Now, for those of you who are just... Yeah, so for those of you who are just viewers of Risen Esports, normally we don't see Tryndameres all that often in any kind of competitive play. So when Tryndamere utilizes his ultimate Undying Rage, as the Highlander, he gets to be unkillable for a period of time.
Yeah, we got a big fight right here. Ooh, what's going to be the taunt coming out here from the Gallows? Going to keep autos on him long enough to keep Dream Release alive and keep the kill going over the way of his AD carry. Unfortunately, she is going to eventually fall over here to Aprilia on the Leona, and Volibear trying to make something happen is not going to get anything here from the bottom half of the map. Ooh, meanwhile, Big E over here on the Urgot. It's going to be getting a very fat trade onto Bop. He's going to be taking a lot himself. Bop is going to have the stain over here from his Q, so it might not be his way.
Alright, so before I was so rudely interrupted by Dream Release just deciding to have a moment, absolutely popping off on Sparky down there, really helping to stabilize that lane because he's going to have the Vampiric Scepter to just kind of chill out for a little bit until they hit that either level 5 mark or that level 6 mark, depending on how aggressive they want to be with the Samir Galio.
Oh yeah.
We were discussing a little bit about that Tryndamere interaction with Urgot. So when the Fear Beyond Death reels in the Undying Rage stops you from dying to the Fear Beyond Death, as long as you've utilized it before you're pulled in. Once you're pulled in, you're suppressed, you can't do anything. This can be good or it can be bad, because depends on where you want to go. It could be a great gap closer, or it could make you just die.
I completely agree. It's all in the execution here for this top lane. Speaking of executions, we do have the level 5, almost level 6 coming out here in just a second. Let's look how both these junglers are pathing. Henry Watermoose is trying to make something happen over here on the top side. He does have the banks available for him. He does guarantee there's no vision.
Wants the Grom
available right there.
They're going to meet up at the Gromp, but this will be a nice little fight, potentially. Okay, so he sees Scoop because he went for that plant, and he knows that he can't really challenge this all that much.
Oh, he is going to have to blow the ultimate over here on Bop, but he does have the Ignite. It's going to give him the last amount of damage. I think this is it. Yes, another kill going the way of Bop here on that Tryndamere. Absolutely huge stuff.
Yeah, and you need to see this player popping off with this champion. Bop, a Tryndamere player. Cesario, also a Tryndamere player. Usually when you both play the same champion, the skill differential is just a little equalized, but Cesario is just kind of getting bodied here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that part of that is having the Ignite over there for lane. Part of that is having this kind of a jungle matchup right here. We saw how Henry Waternoose was able to do 2 ganks over there after a 3-buff clear in the top side. And Scoothawk really is struggling to remain relevant right now on the Valley Does have his level 6, could potentially make a play right here. I really want to see him do something over here before this dragon spawns.
Yeah, but Scoot is up an entire level over Henry here. Like, that's nothing to scoff at. Henry has invested a lot of time, and all of that time has meant that he's fallen very far behind in camps and in levels. And he's not actually getting a lot out of it. So Bop is going to need to take this advantage and actually translate it somewhere else on the map. Otherwise, it's not going to mean a whole lot, unless he's able to just solo roll this lane.
That is true. We did see him do that earlier with the Ignite, and with his ultimate coming up here in about another 20 seconds, he might be able to do it again, potentially, judging on how things go. Level 6 is almost available for both of these bot lanes. If someone gets this a little bit sooner than the other one, this could potentially be huge. Meanwhile, Henry Waternoose is waiting in the alcove right here, but they don't know that the Volley Bear is here as well. Did they spot out Henry Waternoose on a ward? Did you see that?
It looked like the ward faded right before Henry got there. Yeah, see, Scoot's going to come in with the sweeper.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Level 6
is almost here.
Ooh, big ultimate coming out of here from the Volley Bear. Dream Release does now have the level 6. Is he going to be able to trigger? He is able to use it. Henry Waternoose with another kill over here on the Leon. I would love to give him that over to his AD, but he is going to need 2 kills going the way of NGE. I'm starting to jet my channel points. Oh, just like you talked about right there. Oh, but one more turn auto is going to be enough to finish him down. Big shutdown going the way there for the Urgot, but another kill going the way of Bop. Not what you want to be seeing there.
Yeah, and gotta love that interaction. Bop essentially just utilizing it to get a free ticket to Urgot and close out the kill, because there's nothing that Urgot can do. He can't just not pull him to him once he's already activated the ability. And off the back of that, Bop is starting to really snowball in this top lane. He's built up a level advantage, and if he's killing Urgot through the Steel Caps and the Bramble Vest, they're going to have a massive issue in their side lanes developing.
Ooh, yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you right there. The Bramble Vest and the Ninja Tabbies, that is the anthem of playing against the Fed AD character in the top lane. You know, you're playing against the Jax as Mordekaiser, you're playing against the Ribbon. You build those basically every single game, and I'd like to say that could do a lot against the Fed Tryndamere, but you know, on a champion like that who gets so much early power, it might not be enough.
So let's look at the rest of the map. So in the mid lane, things have been pretty calm. Icon managed to build up a rather large farm lead. 83 farm in 10 minutes is very impressive for, I believe he's Platinum. So doing a great job there. But bottom lane, Sparky finally has his summoners available to him again, and this should help stop the aggression that's been coming out of this Samira. So Dream Release has been doing a very, very good job playing into Sparky's Ashe and managing to find openings. When that gank came through, he was actually level 5 and hit level 6 by killing a minion when he also already had full stacks of style, allowing him to immediately level up and unlock the Inferno trigger and then spin around to pick up these kills in that skirmish. If we're able to see Samir continue to do that, it's going to be really important for the rest of this series because Dream Release has been silently performing pretty well, even though we haven't been seeing NGE win.
Yeah, I completely agree. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, we saw Scoothawk trying to make an appearance, but Henry Waternews basically 2v1ing this top side right here is almost instantly there to potentially make an invade. And it looks like they're making for a top side invade here against the Volley Bear. Kind of weird pathing. They're not going to get any camps off of this, but maybe they can get kind of a shove happening here on the top side. It's hard to see what they're going to go for. But Scoothawk actually is...
They want the Rift Herald. The Rift Herald has been a
for?
big focus for Scoot in this entire series. As soon as the first dragon goes down, he immediately looks for the Rift.
Ooh, big play over here from the Victor. Get to get the flash ultimate there on the Vel'Koz, getting the barrier out from the Vel'Koz himself. Meanwhile, Scoothawk is going to go for this. I don't think this is a winning fight right here. King Crimson still does have his ultimate. Oh, but meanwhile, they are going to use the ultimate of their own. He's going to get a little bit of health back over here from his W, but I am Icon. Ooh, unfortunately not going to be able to get the damage right there, but he is going to get enough over there. King Crimson, you didn't need to ult there. You were saved. They got the kill. They were out. Just gifting a kill over here to I am Icon, not the player you want early kills going the way of. He's actually going to have his upgrade E here at 11 minutes. Really, really great stuff, and is almost on the way to his second upgrade, I believe. It takes 100 minions, regular minions, to get an upgrade. Cannons are worth 5, and for every kill participation you get, that's 25. So he should be sitting at about 175 right here, 75% of the way to his second upgrade.
Yeah, he's actually 186, I believe. Doing a little bit better than expected.
Definitely. That's getting those early upgrades like on a Victor is so huge, especially if like level 1 you just like randomly get like 3 assists from a fight. That's just cutting down the part of the game where you're not relevant is so substantially. Like Victor is barely a champion when he doesn't have his E upgrade, but the second he gets his E upgrade, you basically have perma prio.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he actually went for the upgraded gravity field first instead, which is a little bit more powerful, giving that 20% slow to all of his abilities. Allows him to trade with the Vel'Koz a lot more effectively. He's also got the upgraded E come through, so definitely going to be picking up the two of them.
Yeah, let's see what the second upgrade here. He's at 97, so you should be seeing this other one really, really soon. They do... Oh yeah, they haven't gone for the Rift Herald yet. I just now noticed that.
Yeah, like this has been the Scoot special this series, is take the Rift Herald as soon as he's able to. He's sacrificed Icon for it in many scenarios as well. Cesario just on the run from B-Hop. B-Hop's just able to take so much damage because of the healing that comes through from Tryndamere and the fact that he has a Kraken Slayer already built up compared to just the defensive items that Cesario has. At this point, it's unlikely that Cesario will be able to scale to a point where he can handle the Tryndamere in the side lane alone. But he will be able to continuously run away for a while until Tryndamere has enough built up items that he can just keep spinning after him.
Yeah, and now I'd love to see Scoothawk take this Rift Herald and instantly use it to get that tier 1 mid.
That's exactly where he's headed.
Yeah, but he doesn't know Henry Waternoose is right there. He is going to get that channel, luckily. Nothing really there to stop the channel. Ooh, meanwhile, Scouthawk is going to get that extra upgrade on him. Ooh, forcing King Crimson out of this fight. I am Icon. Can he beat Henry Waternoose? He's so fed. They are going to get the tier 1 mid. They're going to get a little extra damage, a little bit of a slow and a shield right here. But King Crimson, with the knockback, is going to be enough to keep his jungler alive. Huge stuff coming out here for both teams.
Yeah, and honestly, we're seeing NGE adapt a lot of the role that FBA has had prior in this series. NGE is the one with the first dragon. They're the one who's probably going to be picking up this second dragon unless Scoot is able to make a miracle happen. And with 2 dragons under their belt, this is the most that they'll have ever had in the series. They're peeling away. I may have spoke too soon.
Ooh, yeah,
Icon wants to stop this.
Them right there. It's only 3. They have the Ashe ultimate available. They have the Leona. They don't have the Volley Bear. Ooh, it's actually going to be stopped out. Big steal over here for Volley Bear. Absolutely huge. Have to flash away actually right now on Samira. They got the kill on the Zen. They're trying to get both these kills right here. Yes, and they're going to get the one on the Galio. You're not going to see an Infernal trigger coming out here on the Samira. Double kill over here for Victor. That is not the person that you want to be giving these kills to. He's now going to have the option here of his second upgrade. He's actually... Yeah, and it's going to be the Siphon Power coming out right here. So close to that Gravity Well as well. Only 3 off it, I believe. That is... Ooh, Victor is definitely a champion who loves getting kill participation early. This is insane.
Yeah, and I believe we call that moment the caster curse. Calling them with the dragon and then immediately FBA recognizes that there's just not enough damage to do that objective very quickly, collapse in, utilize the tempo gained off of winning that fight to take the bottom lane tier 1 outer in exchange for the tier 1 outer that Bop took. And this is really where you see that ignite versus teleport advantage come through. Cesario able to come down and join the fight. Bop stuck up there, has to take the top tower. And his team is suffering heavily for it because he hasn't been able to translate this advantage into anything. The Rift Tower was taken away from them. When you pick these lane carries in top lane, you have to find a way to get the rest of your team ahead unless you can just 1v9 the enemy team. So, what are you going to do here, Bop? How are you going to help?
I'm asking myself the same question right here. I honestly think top is one of the harder lanes to solo carry from right now in this game. Like, getting 3 kills on a top laner is fine, but it's nowhere near as good as like getting 3 kills on your bot lane, because it's just so much easier to translate that lead into other objectives, into more relevant things. It's kind of hard.
It really
to play
depends
out.
on the champion you're playing. Like when you're playing
You're
this
right,
Tryndamere, you really can't do a whole lot. When you're playing the Urgot, though, 3 kills on the Urgot, you can translate that very quickly with the teleport around the map. Again, it just comes down to Tryndamere took this ignite. He's really pressuring into this 1v1. He may even be able to get another kill on Cesario. Now, see, this is the thing. If you catch Cesario out of position as Bop, you need to be able to secure a kill. And right now, he just cannot do that. Until he's able to do that, there's no pressure coming out of him for the rest of the map. So you want to see him roam.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that maybe Bob could be doing a little bit more. I'm not really in love with this build. We have the Zeal coming out right here. I love getting a little extra move speed, but it's probably going to PDD. Not very good. That kind of Tryndamere. Henry Water is actually getting caught out right here. We do have Sparky over here. Doesn't have his ultimate, but Bob actually getting that right there. Ooh, but the Fear Beyond Death is going to be enough to get that fear. Is going to be enough to potentially get something here on Bob. Has the ultimate of his own. Is going to be able to finish down Cesario. He has the true damage on the autos, but he doesn't have much more time in his ultimate. It has run out. One more auto will do it, and Priella will get it with her own E. Meanwhile, Volibear coming in for the cleanup here on the King Crimson. Cesario, perfect person to get that kill too.
And meanwhile, Icon is just down bottom lane, 1v2ing, cleaning up massive amounts of farm, sitting on 161 farm at 17 minutes. This is what you call smurfing at this point. Like, you're a platinum player laning into a silver player, and sometimes you just gap them that hard.
Well, hey, someone in this call would know about smurfing, XD. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about this earlier, but I really don't like this Tryndamere build right here. He's going for that Phantom Dancer right here. I'd love to see him get that item that gives him reduced cooldowns on crits on the basic abilities. What's the name of it?
I believe you're thinking of... the reduced cooldown item would be Essence Reaver, I believe.
No, they changed that.
The reduced cooldown on basic abilities
Navori
comes from...
Quickblade, that's it. That Navori Quickblade.
That one. Okay, because when I'm thinking of... when I think of reduced cooldown on basic abilities, I think of Transcendence and Mana Flow Band. When you take those two runes together.
Mana Flow Band?
Well, so Transcendence at level 11 gives you the champion takedown reduced cooldown. So usually you go into the blue tree to pick up Mana Flow Band and Transcendence together for better laning power and then later teamfight power. But the Tryndamere build with the Navori Quickblades usually sees it come through as the third item. You only go for the Quickblades early on if you go for Gale Force. This is typically how you get to your Quickblades. Either you go for the Quickblades or the Infinity Force here, or Infinity Edge, sorry, because you need that Phantom Dancer in order to actually stick to targets. We should be able to see him much more thoroughly track Cesario and then kill him in the side lanes. Like here, he's coming up on Icon. He should be able to just stick to him the minute he finds him.
Yeah, I
but
think
he's just not going for it.
Navori Quickblade, he would be able to do that a little bit better, but with the PD, it's just upping the damage. Ooh, huge caught out here on the Henry Water move. He is going to have the Urgot ultimate activate on him, but a massive fauna leader from down. It might be enough to see this fight.
Icon.
A massive ultimate of his own. Meanwhile, Icon is coming on the backside. Meanwhile, Scoodhog is huge here on the backside, devastating many members of the enemy team. Not to say that Urgot wasn't doing good himself. And Victor, just absolutely massive amount of damage with that flank.
Yeah, and Cesario just does a great job outputting massive amounts of damage on the team so that when Icon comes in off his teleport flank, because B-Hop was not able to run him down in that top lane, it just results in crazy effectiveness out of this Victor's abilities.
Oh, yeah.
And while we got to see the combination that I hyped up pretty hard in draft between the Xin Zhao and the Galio just spinning around in the middle of teams and then the Samira coming in on top of it, it just wasn't enough damage between them all because Xin Zhao went for the Frostfire Gauntlet build, so his damage output just isn't quite there compared to the damage output of the Volibear and the Urgot.
Yeah, and I think it's times like this where, like, I'm not saying that Tryndamere is doing bad or that it was a bad pick, really, but having a top laner who could be there with your team to give him a little bit of extra damage and maybe a little bit of extra frontline power could have been massive over here for this team. They're getting a lot of value here in the split push. Both those top lane towers gone as opposed to none over here on the side of FPA, but I just like again team fighting.
If you're NGE, all you got to do there is call, like, Bop, dragon spawning in 40 seconds, walk on down with us. He walks on down with you, you find that same engage, and your Tryndamere is whopping on people. Perfect.
Yeah,
but instead, they end up in a 4v5.
I completely agree. Completely agree. Now, Baron is on the map right here, potentially going for this red buff steal, which might result in the fight. We'll have to see how much they want it. Not enough to fight for it right now. It's slowly but surely, we are seeing them come back into this game right
They're going to start it.
Oh, are they going to start the Baron? They might just be clearing out vision.
If they had another pink ward, like they had pink ward's inventories, they could have just dropped a pink ward and then either A, started the Baron itself, or B, baited everyone into walking up to it. Because you see, King Crimson just walked right on up here. If your Leona's waiting on the other side of the wall for him, that's a free kill. Translate that into the Baron, it's easy. But instead, it's going to be Henry Waternoose who finds the pick, potentially. No, Icon's Victor is so strong.
Oh, I don't know about this. You're a little bit deep right here. We do have the Galio ultimate to back it up, as well as all the damage that comes out over here with that ultimate from the Belcott. There's a kick right here on Zakaria, but such a good backup coming over here. We have the ultimate available here on the Victor, and just barely, it's not going to be enough. They're trading a kill there for another kill, or for the kill in the tower here on the bot side. That is a little bit deep there on that flank Cesario. You can't really be forward to doing that.
Yeah, and on the back end of that, Bop is going to be able to pick up yet another tower for himself. He's really snowballing towards that third item. He wants to try and finish it up as soon as possible. It could be the Quick Blades, it could be the Infinity Edge. Either one is possible off of this BF sword.
I don't think you build a Navori Quick Blade off a BF sword. It comes off of Caulfield's Warhammer, doesn't it?
You could be right on that. Honestly, I don't
I'm not
build.
Entirely sure.
I'm not a Navori Quick Blades kind of player. So
I mean, no one is. There's like 2 champions in the game that build it, you know?
Yeah, some people have like near encyclopedic knowledge on these kinds of things, and even then it's a little bit hard to remember just what everything builds into when Riot decides to change everything every season.
That is true. That is true. Meanwhile, we do have another dragon spawning here in about another minute 45. This could be potentially a very big dragon. It could mean Dragon Soul over here for the side of FPA, or it could be the fight that we need to get back into the game over here on NGE. Either way, we're going to be looking at the vision control leading up to this fight. What are we seeing?
Well, so the big thing here is Bop is at level 15. And at level 15, he is 1 point away from maxing out all his basic abilities. One of the big things with Tryndamere is you don't put points into your ultimate because you don't care about the cooldown on your ultimate being reduced, and it doesn't do anything else for you. So when that happens, it's very difficult to escape Tryndamere, and he also just has massive amounts of stats to just check someone into the ground. As this game progresses, that champion becomes more and more threatening in the side lanes because the person who needs to go and answer him is Cesario. And Cesario is level 13 with about an item and a half in his inventory compared to what's going to be 3 items in Bop's inventory in a moment here. If you cannot answer this when the dragon does spawn, you will have a problem, and he may just be able to take an inhibitor in exchange.
That is true. That is true. Now you have to ask yourself, well, who's really benefiting from the trade if we do get an inhibitor right here in one of these sides versus the dragon? I mean, at one point, yeah, you do have the Dragon Soul point, but it's not the Dragon Soul. You know, you're going to have a lot of time to get some advantage over here with that inhibitor, especially with Baron still on the map. Another 30 seconds before this dragon spawns right here. And it looks like Bob might just be going for the team fight right here. We might see the Tryndamere finally team fighting over here with this team. We might also see a blue buff taken right before him. Getting that off of someone like the Belcause could be huge.
Let's set the stage a little bit. We got all these wards out here before this dragon, and it means that everyone's going to have to come through a choke point. When that choke point is
Ephemeral Voice might be a little bit out of place. We do have a massive Victor W coming in right there, but a lot of damage coming out there on that Gallery support right there, making it so much more dangerous for him to hold in right there.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Icon.
Okay.
This is where it's going to be coming from. He's the one that's going to put up the
very
damage.
deep right here. Gallo is going for the engage right there. Ooh, meanwhile, Henry Waterloo is still very low. He is going to be finished off of there by that ultimate over there on the Victor. Another kill over here for Icon. Meanwhile, Bop is going to be finishing off that backline on the Cesario right there, but he doesn't really have the rest of his team to deal with them right there. He's one-man army right here, quite literally. Vel'Koz is not going to be able to end this fight, and with the Jolly Bear still alive, this looks like a free Infernal Drake over here for the side of NPA.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like I mentioned, keep your eyes on Icon. He's running down Bop. He's the only person on his team that can really deal with this champion. He picks up a triple kill in the fight, and he's just running rampant in this game. This is the honorary Quadra with the massive shutdown. Bop went into that fight with the Infinity Edge finished. Full 3 items completed. He just couldn't make anything happen other than just beating up Cesario on the side. And this could be a potential Baron take. There is everyone except for Bop alive for the side of NGE, so they could try to fight this out, but Icon does have teleport available and can make his way into this fight if they try to contest the Baron. He's so powerful at this point in the Victor, completely deathless this game.
Oh, yeah, just honestly, I am Icon looking like he's smurfing right here. 4K on this Baron right here. Are they going to go for the steal? Henry Waters does not have the flash, but he does have the blast zone, and they didn't even smite it. Scoothog didn't even have his smite available, and they still got it. Sparky finishing off that Baron there for his team. This is an absolute massive power play over here for FPA. They have the Baron buff. They have I am Iconic looking iconic over here on this Victor. How much gold does he have in on Victory? Over 3K, 3.6K right here. This is, ooh,
That's
my
an
man,
item.
huge.
That might be 2 items.
That's an item and a half right there. He's finishing his Zhonya's Hourglass. He still has enough gold for, still has 2K in inventory. What's he going to build? Is he going to build towards that Void Staff? Ooh, no,
He's going for the death cap.
right there.
He's a baller. If I were in his shoes, I'd be getting the Void Staff. You already see the Verdant Barrier coming through for Vel'Koz. You see the Quicksilver and Xin Zhao's inventory. There's quite a lot of magic resist built up just with the Mercury Treads alone that every single player has bought, except for Henry. You definitely want to mitigate that damage, but one of the things that we're seeing in FPA as they utilize this Baron buff is they actually have the ability to siege with this composition, and they outrange NGE's composition very well, though. So this means that they can set up this 1-3-1, disengage if anything happens to them, and in the side lanes they're able to apply all of this pressure while also finally knocking down these towers and moving the game at a much faster pace than they did in the previous one.
I completely agree. I completely agree right there. And yeah, slowly we're seeing this. Ooh, Bop is looking for a really big play here on the top side. We do have 2.5 items here on the Trinity, but it's not going to be enough. Cesario, he is going in. And meanwhile, Bop, I think his ultimate just ran out right here. He can't afford to fight anymore. Cesario, you got to save that ultimate just a little bit longer here in these fights, and you can get the kills, man. Meanwhile, the Baron buff is hammering down these mid lane towers. 2 towers being hammered down right here.
So
Crimson trying to do his best. Oh, yes, Lon?
yeah, importantly in that fight, Cesario did use his ultimate early, but because he used that early, he stops a lot of the damage that Bop is able to put out, and he turns what should be a lost fight into a potentially winning fight because of that auto attack damage that's stopped. Because we're seeing the disengage come through in the mid lane.
Something in the mid lane right here. You saw the Galio engage over here with the Xin Zhao, and it's going to drive out the Leona ultimate. It's going to mean so much over there for the way of shutting down these teams.
Yeah, and basically, while Bop is unable to secure a kill onto Cesario with the 1.5 item advantage, it just means that it's making it so difficult for his team because they put so many resources into getting him ahead, and he's not able to make a big advantage happen with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why a lot of pro players say that you really can't afford to split push in this kind of a meta. It's just not as good as having a good team fight. It's not as good as being able to win the objectives, get yourself the Dragon Soul, and guarantee permanent advantages over here for your team. People keep talking about this, but I just don't see it happening here with this team.
Yeah, and honestly, with a minute to go on the Infernal Dragon spawning, this would put them up. This would put FBA up to 3 Infernal Dragons with the Infernal Soul itself if they win this game. And there's really not much you can do to come back from the Infernal Soul if you're NGE. The amount of damage it's going to provide for them is just way too high, and you already are a relatively squishy team. You will just get blown apart.
Definitely. With Victor almost having enough gold to complete his death cap right here, we're going to start seeing that very soon.
Victor's 6 levels over Ephemeral Void's Galio. At this point, like, Bop is also at that level 17 mark, but I mean, he's been funneled by his entire team. Icon has just been playing the game the way he plays every single game, and he's just absolutely dominating in this game the way he has in every single game this series. You know, there's a fight coming up in this choke point. You just got to keep your eyes on this man, because every single time he uses an ability, someone loses half of their health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is so huge here in these fights. With another 13 seconds before Dragon spawns, we're going to see just how huge he is. Ooh,
He's
is
looking for
actually
a
going to get it back
teleport.
right here.
He has a great flank ward, or potentially teleporting the minions. We'll see which he decides to go for. I think he's going to try and walk, which is just crazy.
He's kind of greedy, yeah. I mean, Bop is here on the top side trying to hammer this down right here, but I definitely right now is the time for Henry Watergoose to try to get an engage up here, follow it up with the Ephemeral Voids before everyone has been poked down. And yeah, I'm Icon not going to be punished for greeting his teleport right here. Meanwhile,
they had no
Cesario-
idea that he was walking the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and one thing I do got to point out here is they won't actually have Cesario here for this fight. He's been pretty huge in absorbing damage, getting some damage up before dying, frontlining for his team, and having to cover the training mirror might be one of the
Here goes.
Ooh, Henry Waternoose. Yeah, it's going to be a big value ultimate right here. Huge shield coming out here onto Henry Waternoose. Vel'Koz getting a massive ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to get hammered out by that Vel'Koz right there, by that Volibear. Double kill coming out here for Ashe. Not going to be enough. Vel'Koz is the sole survivor here of this team. Easy Infernal Soul over here for FPA.
Yeah. Daniel, while that fight was breaking out, Cesario managed to get a solo kill for himself onto Bop, despite the massive disadvantage he had. And I mean, Icon's flying in here. They're going to be closing the game out on the back of this. In the fight itself, one of the biggest thing that happened was Dream Release went for the Inferno trigger, and Icon saved the Victor ultimate and dropped it onto Dream Release the minute he went for that Inferno trigger, silencing him and knocking him out of it, which turned the fight into their favor. And while it was looking like FBA might lose, NGE ends up being the ones who just lose everything.
I gotta say, that's why you really can pour. Oh, hold up. I am Icon actually getting very low right here. Is gonna get Ignite over here by the Gallier. Henry Waternoose does have the move speed up right here. Abriella might be the target here of an E from the Xin Zhao. He is gonna look for the engage. The ultimate did come out earlier, but Henry Waternoose is gonna be finished off there by that Urgot ultimate. Volibear so deep on the backline, killing this Tremere, almost killing Tremere. Getting his death timers just reset on these enemy teams. It might not have been GG earlier, but it certainly is now.
And there you have it, folks. FBA taking down the last inhibitor tower, knocking down the Nexus, and they will be your Rampage Open Finals best of 5 winners, taking down Not Good Enough here in Game 3.
Absolutely. A clean 3-0 sweep coming here from first pick Ashe. Over, not good enough. And when it comes to the Open Rampage Finals, we only want to see the best, and that's exactly what we saw here today. For my money, easy MVP of the series over here was I Am Icon. I think we're going to try to get an invite to this guy real quick, but boy, every single game, my man just popped off after popped off. We saw him on the Zoe, game 1, massive bubbles every fight. We saw him on the Orianna, game 2, massive shockwave in those dragon fights. And we saw him in the game 3 on the Victor. What would he get, like a 40 CS lead here in lane? And every single fight, just absolutely massive.
Yeah, and Daniel, I'm just absolutely blown away by how well FBA just put away NGE in this quick 3-0 of a series for themselves. They put on a masterclass, honestly, in utilizing wards in the amateur level. While they may not have actually utilized the pressure created from them well, they did a great job just placing them all over the map and then playing off their star players and locking down this series, putting away NGE in a quick 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We did see a lot of really good plays out there. Shout out to Scoots. Shout outs to the top lane and bot lane of FPA, who had so much to do over there with those wins. We did see a lot of really good effort from the sides of NGE as well. The Xin Zhao game 1 or game 3 was absolutely massive. They put him on a carry champion. He was able to do a lot of carrying, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. The team with the better comp over here didn't end up winning over here. Draft does make difference, guys. And I think that's what we saw here in these series. I think we're trying to get an invite
Yeah,
over here to I Am Icon, but
we will be right back after a quick break, and we're going to have an interview with our series winner, I Am Icon, for you right afterwards. right, and we are back. I am once again your caster, the Midget Cow, joined by Danielson524, and with us we have I Am Icon, who has just emerged victorious against NGE, playing for FPA. My goodness, did you ever think that you would get this far, Icon, or were all hopes lost?
I'll be completely honest. Most of the games are fairly easy. There's a few that were kind of difficult,
Ooh.
but I'll be honestly, some of our teammates, like Sparky, he's really good at fucking excuse me, draft and
You
all
get
that.
one.
He picks all of that up for us, and then we just play.
Yeah.
He was our strategist.
Like
All
I said,
right.
you guys actually did have a really good draft this one. And saving the counter picks for the wave, you always had the solutions, especially when they went for like a kind of a weird early pick, like the Samir. He picked a lot of single target CC. That was a really good draft, I gotta say.
So I want to touch in on that draft a little bit. You said Sparky handled a lot of your drafting. Now, when we went into that third draft, we were talking about it on the cast, and as soon as the Samir Galio came through against the Ashe, we picked out the Leona for your pick, and you guys went for it immediately for that fourth round pick. Was there any consideration that would have been given to something else, or was that the de facto pick you were going for?
So we were thinking about the Nami that they picked, or rather they banned. But once the Nami was gone, we were basically just locked on Leona. We just need to lock down Samira, and once we do, we just kill her. That was our game plan for at least bot lane.
All right,
Okay.
fantastic. And it looked like that worked out very well for you guys in this series. Now, you put on a star player level performance coming into this series. Absolutely dominating performance in game one, a strong performance in game two. In game three, you just shredded NGE from all sides. While Bop was getting crazily fed up on that Trinimir, what were you saying to your team in order to keep them really level headed and let them know that you had it in the bag that whole time?
Oh yeah, that was so Trinity was getting pretty big up there, but we outscaled, and there was at a certain point there was gonna be where I could just match the Tryndamere, and there's nothing he can do to me. I think there was even one point I think in top lane where he was just kind of farming, and I EQ'd him, did like almost 3/4 of his health. So if he were to ever try to fight me, he basically just dies. He has to R immediately, or I just burst him down. So if it ever came down to me just having to match him, I don't think there was ever going to be an issue because I got so far ahead in middle.
All right, that's fantastic to hear. Is there anything that you'd like to add yourself? Or Daniel, do you want to chime in with a quick question?
No, I just gotta say, quick congrats, man. You played absolutely beautiful that series. Love the draft, love the play. Putting on a carry performance that many games in a row, that's definitely something special to see, especially in the finals.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, any shout outs that you'd like to add in here, Icon? Fans, friends, family, the rest of your teammates?
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely my teammates. They made this very enjoyable and honestly very easy. They were all super chill people, also competitive, and all we want to do is win every week, and we did a pretty good job of that. Obviously, my friends that are watching, family, all of them. Shout out everybody. They know who they are.
All right, that's fantastic to hear. Thank you for coming and joining us here. Thank you to everyone from our Twitch chat from coming around, viewing and enjoying, hopefully enjoying. Big shout out to the Great Firewall for being our producer tonight. Excellent job producing and observing. We love having you on the stream. I'm the Midget Cow here with Danielson524. Any words before we sign off?
No, that's it for me, man. That was a great series, and I'm happy to see that they won.
All right. And we will see you all back here on the Risen Esports channel when the next season starts, as this is it for us for the Risen Rampage Open. Thank you very much and have a great night.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm